Hey, what's going on, guys? All in China, host ever here. I'm a little bit late with this review, but I wanted to do one nonetheless. Talk today about Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. I actually got to see it last week. I just wanted to give you guys my thoughts on it. This will be my full review, and what I mean by that, there's probably going to be spoilers in here. I'm kind of doing this off the cuff, so please bear with me. And that's why I'm letting you guys know as a full review. There's things that's going to be said that you guys might not want to hear. So if you guys don't want to be spoiled at all, or the possibility of being spoiled, just please turn off the video now. Normally, I like to do first impressions. Didn't get a chance to do that because I was busy this weekend. And, you know, I'm kind of running behind on time. So I just decided to do, like I said, a full review just to cover all my basics. Okay. So I'll try and keep this as short as possible, at least under 10 minutes. I know my videos tend to run long. Also, I do apologize for all the ambient sound you might hear in the background. Um, I didn't pick up on that on my last video. Normally, my videos are okay, so I kind of give a warning. Well, this time, or last video, I did not. And when I went back and listened to the playback and answered some of the comments, I didn't realize how bad it was. You guys could hear the roosters. So, my apologies, man. But I'm kind of, like I said, doing this on the cuff. Don't have a lot of editing software or anything, fancy. This is just me giving my thoughts, and kind of wanted to get it out there over the internet. And I do need content for my channel. I'm gonna try and put some more content as far as Xbox is concerned. I'll probably do a video addressing the streaming issues that happened last week. I'm not sure um, about what was going on and stuff like that. And it was pretty weird because normally we've a lot of Xbox guys following it, but I don't hear people talking about it too much. But anyway, let's get on with the review. That's a video for another time. But anyway, Doctor Strange 2 and the Multiverse of Madness. Like I said, I got to watch it. It was this Friday that I went with my kids. I was debating whether to watch the movie because of reviews I was having from people that I actually follow and actually trust their opinions. And when I was listening to what they were saying, it just made me feel like it's a movie that I have to see for myself because I am such a big fan of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, at least used to be, especially phases 1 through 4, minus Captain Marvel. And I did like the WandaVision TV show. Kind of had a letdown at the end, but overall, I thought it was good. But ever since then, have not been a big fan of the current MCU. The direction they're going, the stuff that they have in the future, is just not something that's interesting to me. But because I had heard so much about Doctor Strange 2, and then my son had actually saw Spider-Man and the multiverse. Was it No Way Home? He kind of wanted to watch Doctor Strange because it's a tie-in. This is how they get a lot of people too, right? And of course, even regardless of what my hangups are, or whatever baggage I have, I'm not going to take that out on my kids. Like, I'm not going to force my kids to get into Star Wars. When I was younger, and when I had, I was so much into Star Wars, and I thought when I had kids, I'll pass it on to them. But as a lot of you guys are learning as parents, as we are now, that sometimes your kids aren't interested in the things that you're interested in or that you grew up on. And so I'm not going to be that kind of parent that just force feeds them, stuff that I like. And on the flip side, I'm also not going to put my hangups on them as well. For example, my son was interested in playing the new Spider-Man game, and if he wants me to get him a PlayStation, I'll buy him one. Even though I'm a pro Xbox channel, even though I will not buy a PlayStation for myself, don't really care for their. Basically, I don't like the fans, and I've said that multiple times on my channel. I don't like the environment that's over there, and I'm kind of out. I used to have a multicultural order way back in the day. So I'm not going to do that with them. So of course he wants to go watch it, which is fine. I had mentioned that I was interested in going to watch it. So like I said, I'm not going to deny my son the opportunity to watch something, or both my even my daughter went. And so this is, like I said, my full review. What I thought about it. This is all me, right? And some of you guys might agree, might not agree. But as you know, if you guys watch my channel, or been following me closely, or still follow me, you guys know that I'm a Marvel Cinematic Universe fan. Like I said, especially the first 4 phases. But now, man, it's not so much. And Doctor Strange 2 and the Multiverse of Madness is basically the reason why I'm not going to be probably following the Marvel Universe as close as I did, or become a fan of it, or Marvel Cinematic Universe, just because it's just not my Marvel anymore. And that's fine, dude. I'm old. I started off in the comic books initially, of course, watched the cartoons, but I was hardcore comic book collector, comic book fan, especially when it came to Marvel. And when the Marvel Cinematic Universe first launched, I didn't have high expectations. I come from a time where stuff like movies like these were thought of and like a holy grail. Like you never thought you'd see the day when it happened. Of course, when Blade released, that was a great movie, and then of course when the Spider-Mans kicked off, it gave a lot of guys like myself hope that this would be, that this was possible, that this was doable, that they could build a universe. Then Marvel came in and they actually did do that. They actually built that universe. But that Marvel that first started off and the Marvel we have now is very different. So I was a huge fan of the first Doctor Strange movie. I love the way that they introduced the character, right? They stuck pretty much to his origin story. Of course, like every Marvel movie, they take liberties. I understand that, right? I'm not a total purist when it comes to this kind of stuff. You can't be. If you're too much of a purist, you're not going to enjoy it at all. So, you allow them to do certain things, like what they did with the Ancient One, both politically and, gender swapping and all that kind of stuff. But I like the actress, right? I like the character. I love the way she played the character. In fact, I'd say Doctor Strange, the first movie, is my favorite movie as far as casting. I think it's the best casted of all the Marvel movies. They have a strong cast, a cast of people whose work I'm familiar with because I'm also a pop culture guy. So I understand or I follow movies as well. It's just not just, I'm just not one-handed as far as comic book movies. I watch a lot of movies, grew up watching movies. So a lot of the actors that were in that movie, I know their work even before they did Doctor Strange. So when they came on board, I knew they could bring some gravitas. And that first movie delivered, both in the casting, the acting, the dialogue was solid, the script was good. The story was, it was typical Marvel fanfare. But just the way that they introduced the universe of Doctor Strange, man, if you guys have read the old comic books back in the 70s, Doctor Strange is not much like Thor, especially the Thor universe that they presented as far as Asgard is concerned. When you're bringing it to live action, in comic books, it's awesome. But live action, there can be a lot of issues. And to me, the way they presented Doctor Strange, the first movie, they hit it out of the park. Love the way they did the different dimensions that they showed. Dormammu was awesome. They actually took the time to embed the technology into the world. So as you're experiencing it for the first time, everything about the movie encompasses you, right? In fact, what I did was I have glasses. So I normally don't watch movies in 3D. I actually went and got contacts just so I could watch this movie. That's how in tune with it that I was and excited I was to watch it. I actually went and bought contacts so I could put the 3D glasses and I could experience it in 3D, which I'm so happy to do. If there's any movie I wish I could buy on 3D for home and get like a 3D television, it would be Doctor Strange, that first movie. And this is what they did. This is how they presented the character. And then as they continued to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, introducing him in other movies, they kept that consistency about it. And the reason why I bring this all up, as I can see, my time's running pretty fast. But yeah, this will probably run a little longer than 10 minutes, guys. Sorry. But the reason why I bring all this stuff up is because all the stuff that I loved about the first movie, you don't get that in the second movie. In fact, there's a lot of things that they do in the second movie that kind of take away from the first movie, in my opinion. Like I said, man, just don't take my word for it, guys. Just go and watch it if you're a fan. Like I said, if you can enjoy the movie, man, if you're basically not like me, if you don't have the hang-ups. But all that stuff that I loved about the first movie, it wasn't in the second movie, right? And there's a lot of stuff that they did. Hey, what's up, Unlimited? Yeah, I know. I wish I could say mediocre as well, but what's up, dude? Yeah, it was a pretty big disappointment for me, dude. If I'm being perfectly honest. Yeah. Super felt like, yeah, definitely. Um, yeah, America Chavez. Yeah, you know what they tried to do with America Chavez? Sorry, guys, I want to hop around here a little bit. But there's a character in there by the name of America Chavez. Now, what they tried to do with her is what they do, and Marvel does this a lot in their comic books, right? Every once in a while, like Marvel would do a string of comic books, and if you guys collect the comic books, right, they usually do it in story arcs, or there's long running series because there's one writer or one artist, or sometimes both. Like there's an artist that can come in or a writer that comes in, and then they just dominate that comic book, and of course they'll stay on if there's sales, if people like the stuff, right? And then maybe that person leaves, right? Or they need a refresh or reboot. Maybe sales goes down. You remember now, comic books is like a business, like anything else, right? And so, if stuff's not doing well, they get rid of the guy, or the guy moves on to other things, right? They have to bring somebody else in, and over time, you've had this 20 issue span, or maybe sometimes 15, sometimes 5. It just depends. So what they do is they have to reintroduce the world back to new readers, because new readers will come on because maybe somebody else that was on another book they like, whether it's an artist or a story writer, right? Storyteller will come on, and then they jump into that title. And then they have to keep that in. Marvel keeps that in mind, and they're like, okay, we have to introduce this world to these new people. And so what they do, they'll take a character, right, that they'll bring into the group, and what they would use that character is they would use that character to kind of explain the world. Like X-Men, the perfect example is Kitty Pryde when she joins X-Men, right? I mean, that's probably one of the best examples I can use, because of course that's during the Phoenix Saga, which is my all-time favorite X-Men saga, but and Dark Phoenix Saga too. So basically, Kitty Pryde comes into the group, and what you're doing, you're seeing the X-Men through her eyes, but as the reader, you're actually getting introduced to the whole universe, right? Because as you guys know, the X-Men weren't doing so good. Marvel was actually thinking about canceling them, and then Chris Claremont and was it Byrne? Was it Byrne and Claremont, right? I'm old. I can't remember. Byrne and Claremont came in, Giant Size X-Men #1, Uncanny X-Men '94, and the rest is all history, right? That's where you got they introduced the Brood, the Sentinels, Starjammers, Dark Phoenix, Imperial Guard, the whole nine, right? Some of the best X-Men stuff. And in fact, X-Men was the only comic book that I collected and read religiously. I never missed an issue up until almost into like 350. So I started, I think I had like issues 170 to 350. Anyway, so that's what they would do. They would introduce that character. And for American Chavez, bro, that's what they were trying to do, right? Is to introduce the character. But the problem that Marvel is having with what they're trying to do is that they've kind of conditioned people to expect certain things with their characters, this universe they built for phase 1 through 4. And now, look, not everybody likes what Marvel did, phases 1 through 4. But they've conditioned people, right, to kind of expect a certain thing. And what Marvel's doing now is they're doing all this stuff, and they're not even looking at what they created in the previous phases, right? And this is why you kind of, yeah, thanks, man. Those Claremont, Chris Claremont, yeah. Was it Byrne, bro? It was Byrne, right? Wasn't John Byrne the Claremont was the writer, and Byrne was the artist. Yeah, I'm showing my age. I haven't read an X-Men comic in forever. So this is right. So what they've conditioned their fans, and this is why they're getting pushback, man, from even normies, because normies have experienced the Marvel Cinematic Universe, how guys like myself have experienced the comic book universe, right? They just kind of use that format, even though it's kind of like the Cliff Notes version, right? You don't have 20 issues or 50 issues to explain the whole history of who these characters are. So they take the basic stuff, right, which Marvel does, right? I give them credit for that. They take this basic concept that people understand, and they put it in the newer stuff, and they take some liberties with it, right? But they have that basic formula, that basic foundation, right? And then conditioning their new fans or people that have never read a comic book, right, to understand there's certain canon. So even within the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and I know some of you comic book guys, if you watch this, you guys will come after me, right? I understand. Right, but I just got to be honest, man. There's a canon with the Marvel Cinematic Universe because it's been 10 years, and they built, whether you think it's good or not, right? I'm not saying it's good or not, or you like it or not, or you hate them because of what they did to certain characters you like. Like I tried to watch Moon Knight. I love Moon Knight. I couldn't get past the 3rd episode, man. I was pissed. I turned it off. They started in was it 3rd or the 4th episode? The beginning of the 4th episode, I just turned that show off. I was done with it. Right, so I can understand, like, if you have a background like myself, right, there's stuff that you don't like. But for these newer guys that don't have the hangups we have, or don't know the history, or don't know, what the canon is of the universe, right? They come in with fresh minds. But now Marvel has kind of conditioned them to think a certain way because Marvel borrows some of that stuff from the comic book. So you have within this normie universe of guys who watch the cinematic universe of Marvel movies. A little bit of confusion, right? Like these guys are watching these movies, and you see it in the reviews, which I find is interesting because I'm really interested to see how the brand survives. We're gonna have the second week for Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, and that drop's gonna be so important. And look, I'm not hating on them. I'm not wishing them to do ill and stuff like that. I mean, it's just diminishing returns, in my opinion, because there's a lot of stuff going on, with these. Not just superhero movies, but just movie and entertainment in general, man. I mean, if you guys keeping up with the news with Netflix and Disney Plus and all this crap, dude, I would definitely say that Doctor Strange 2 feels like a movie that should have came out 2 years ago, especially with the messaging. Yeah, exactly, dude. No, they're not. They're not making any interesting characters, man, at all. Yeah, it's so bad, dude. I don't even know. Like Love and Thunder. I know Taika Waititi's in charge of that, but I don't know, dude. I don't know if that can. Dude, I mean, they're on thin ice with me. I mean, that ice breaking with me actually. Yeah, and that's what and they're brand characters as well. That's what I had a problem. One of the main problems with Doctor Strange. It's just all they're doing is taking a bunch of stuff and just throwing it at you, man. Dude. If you have epilepsy, dude, I would not recommend. You know, I used to get the warnings in front of certain games or certain television shows, right? They say if you have epilepsy, don't watch this. Yeah, I would recommend that for Doctor Strange, too. They just take so much stuff and throw much. They're throwing so much things at you, and it's not in a good way, man. I mean, it's if I'm being honest, dude, it's to cover up all the plot holes and all the, like you said, boring characters. Everybody, and there's nobody really interesting. When the character I like the most is Wong, you know, I mean that's bad. Given what they tried to do in this movie, you know, with some of the cameos as well, and then I find Wong to be the, the most interesting character, and that's not saying much because he's hardly in there. You know, and this is Doctor Strange's movie, but it doesn't feel like Doctor Strange's movie. Again, they're just trying to do too much. Of course, you guys know Scarlet Witch is in there. Yes, she's the main bad guy. She's the main bad person, right? And there's no connection there either. You have to have watched the show. This is what blows my mind about what Marvel's doing. You know, and I don't know if if it's just mismanagement, right? These guys aren't thinking about what they're doing, or it's just pure hubris that you just assume the entire world watched WandaVision, which isn't true because if you look at Disney Plus subscriptions, right, that's not true. If you look at the numbers they pulled, it's definitely not true. If you look at how fast people just dropped off the show after the first couple episodes, right? So there's a lot of people that are going to be going in there with the way the story arc is in the movie, especially with Wanda's story. I mean, is it like I told you? I think we were talking earlier, bro. There's some stuff they do in there that I like, but for every one thing they do like 5 to 10 things that I just absolutely just destroys it for me. Yeah, yeah, it's yeah, exactly. And they, you know, they had other universes, but who cares, right? It was just like it was almost like that episode of was it Guardians of the Galaxy 2, where they're just skipping through the multi with the different worlds, the different planets. That's exactly what it felt like rehash. The difference being is it made sense in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, right? That movie was built to, when you saw that in there, right? And there's even payoffs in that. You know, you saw Stanley and the Watchers on one of the world's planets at least. Right, when they're bopping all over the universe, it matches Guardians of the Galaxy. But it almost felt the same way. But like in Doctor Strange, the first one, man, they actually spent time to kind of, you can tell they thought about it. When you look at the first Doctor Strange, they thought about it. Now, granted, it's an origin, basically an origin story, and they got to get people hooked, so they put a little bit of more time and effort in it, right? And what they came out with was cool, in my opinion, dude. I'm a huge. I grew up reading those, especially the '70s Doctor Strange, man, late '60s through the '70s, because I went backwards when I started reading Marvel. I read like Rom, Micronauts, or Rom Space Knight, Micronauts, freaking the whole thing. But like I said, they did. I mean, it was just not a. It was just a. I mean, okay, if I'm being honest, it was just a mess. It was just a big mess, in my opinion. You know, and because, like I said, Marvel's set this foundation with their universes. A lot of people, even though they don't know why, because I've seen people's reviews when they talk about it, it's like they know something's not right or something's missing or there was something wrong with the movie, but they can't put their thumb on it, right? There's something about it that they don't know, and that's what it is. It's because in the other movies, right, there was something. Even if they're doing all this stuff or moving along, there's like a foundation, right? Like you knew about Thanos somewhat in the background, right? You knew there was an Infinity Gems, even though it was a MacGuffin kind of thing, but you know they had stuff to anchor people, and they would actually take time to actually connect the dots. And what they're doing right now is they're not even thinking about that, which is not going to work. I don't know, man. I mean, it doesn't work for me, right? And that kind of stuff matters to me, man. That's why I'm a Marvel fan. Marvel would always take their canon into consideration, man. That's why when you started off reading stuff from the '70s and then you go all the way up into the '90s, there's still a consistency to it. Yeah, yeah. Well, if you want me to be honest with you, yeah, Doctor Strange. You said that's another thing. I don't like Doctor Strange isn't the master of mysticism. It seemed like everyone was better with magic than him. Yet comic Doctor Strange is the sorcerer supreme. Yeah. Well, I'll just be honest with you, man. You know what? Like I said, this movie should have came out 2 years ago, man, because it was riding that woke wave. That woke wave. I mean, it's inundated throughout the whole movie. I know people are not going to like me say that, but I'm going to be honest. That's the problem with it, right? You trying to lessen the, it's the bait and switch. It's the gender swap, dude. It's the whole patriarchy stuff, right? And it's not. At least I give him this. Hey, what's up, 100? At least I give him this much, man. It's not like blatantly in your face, right? But the way they do it, they don't work it into the story so good. It's so bad the way they do it, man. It's just in your face, dude. It's like it stands out, not in your face, but it stands out. Like when they say something, like there's this time where she goes into this other planet, and they're like she talks about you have to eat, right? And so she grabs some food and she starts eating, and then she makes a comment like nobody, she's been to universes where nobody pays for food, right? Well, sorry about that, guys. And I can't stand that, dude, because you hear somebody say that, and of course you're taking, when they do stuff like that, it takes you out of the movie. Because especially for me, as soon as I hear something like that, I'm like, okay, well, what kind of planet is this? Is it a planet full of Nazis? Is this like a communist planet? Is this a planet where, I don't understand like how that's possible. So, it's like a one-off. That's what I was saying about earlier when I talked about in your comment section about, there's a lot of throwaway stuff. Like when you're introduced to Illuminati in the comics are actually pretty good. Especially for more of the modern comics, man. When I was going back and reading stuff, I was like, yeah, that was actually a pretty cool thing what they did with the Illuminati. But in this movie, it's just like a throwaway, man. It's just like, and the characters they had on there. Well, since if you guys are listening, it's a spoiler thing, man. Some of the characters, they had Professor X in there, right? Professor X was there, right? You had Black Bolt. And here we go. So they show Black Bolt the way he's supposed to look, because that's the same actor from the TV series they did on ABC, and they put him in the traditional Black Bolt outfit. And then it was cool how they showed their power, but you don't. Black Bolt is like one of the most powerful characters in the Marvel universe, dude. This dude is so powerful. He can be considered cosmic powerful, and there's levels to it, right? And his power set, dude, his power set is so OP, man. That when you write Black Bolt, dude, you have to always keep that in the back of your mind, whether it's comic book, cartoon, no matter what you do, right? This dude cannot speak. He speaks, and people die or worlds get shattered. That's how bad it is. Illuminati were cool and had a big effect, like for the Planet Hulk and World War Hulk stories. Yeah, in the movie they all get beat by Scarlet Witch in 4 minutes. Yeah, dude, you had Black Bolt, right? He's level 10. You have Professor and Charles Xavier, right? And then you show him, right? So at least at the level he's at, right? He's one of the most powerful mutants on the face of the earth, right? Yeah, Captain Marvel. I don't know what that version was. Some people online were saying that's like the photon Captain Marvel. I don't know. It was kind of cool that they used the same person from Captain Marvel, right? They kept that consistent. Then you had Captain Carter, right? That was in there, and she actually played Captain Britain with a spoof on the Captain America thing, which I'm kind of I love Haley Atwell as an actress, and I like her as Sharon Carter and as Captain Britain. I wish they would have did with the more traditional Captain Britain outfit. Understandably, though, they probably wanted to connect it with Steve Rogers and whatever, but her throwing around that seal because Captain Britain or so. I mean, if they're going to use the Captain Britain power set, he's actually a cool character. But yeah, she just took him out, And I was telling my kids this, when it comes to movies like this and these guys who are writing it, man, these guys cannot. They're not world builders, man. They just can't build worlds. They're just horrible at it. Yeah, Miss Marvel. Well, in the Captain Marvel movie, right? They just basically gave the Captain Marvel in that movie the power set of Captain Marvel and Miss Marvel and everybody else, dude. I mean, she's like so powerful. You saw what she did she died in Endgame, right? She blew up Thanos's his warship, dude. I'm like, what the? When they did that, dude, I was like, there's parts in that movie that was signaling what was to come, man. I know me and the guys online have been just looking at it, but it was, yeah. I told my kids this, man. That's the problem. Like if like you're a DC dude, man. It's interesting to me because with the DC comic books, dude. I mean, to me, when I always looked at like Superman is a super. I mean, he's the king of superheroes, right? This is why I hated DC, man, when I was younger, because you guys had Superman and Batman. Um, all I'm gonna say is this, man. A lot of these Marvel guys who've been talking, cinematic Marvel fans, man, has been talking trash about Justice League, DC movies, especially Justice League, man. They better go back and scrub their social profiles, man, because this is going to get ugly real fast. You know, it's going to get bad, dude. I mean, these guys. Yeah, dude, and that's the thing with Kevin Feige, man. And I didn't at first when people were talking about Kevin Feige in that way, there I was like, no, I don't think so. And then when he did Captain Marvel, man, I don't know, man. Kevin Feige, dude, that dude is sensitive, man. Because he supposedly Captain Marvel got made because he was trying to beat DC to the punch because DC had Wonder Woman, right? And DC was coming out with Wonder Woman, so that's why he was rushing to get Captain Marvel. The problem is Captain Marvel. Well, and that's not even Captain Marvel proper. Miss Marvel is who she is, right? It's not even on the same level, dude. That's the thing with DC. I mean, with Marvel, and Marvel doesn't have that background like DC does. And I hear people now they're like, "Oh yeah, well we have Iron Man, we have Thor." Dude, nobody knew these guys. You have to have read the comic books to know the back. We had Spider Man and Hulk. Those are the two most famous people. And then there's even X Men fans like, oh no, X Men was popular. Like, dude, X Men. It took a while, man. The '90s cartoon, yeah, okay. But it's just like somebody who tells me they're like a fan of a certain football team. It's like I'm a Steeler fan, dude. And when I talk to Steeler fans now, dude, they're so they're not Steeler fans, dude. They don't know about like the history of Pittsburgh. They like them now because somebody they know is on the team, or they like the colors, or their cousin's a fan. Dude, that was one of the reasons. And when I was a Steeler fan, it was rough, man. I missed the Super Bowl years, dude. I was born, dude, in the '70s, so I know of the history of it, but I was young. My Steeler days was '80s, going into the '80s, man, and '90s, and those were rough times, man. I hate to say it, but Phase 4 has been really bad. It's like they abandoned what made Phase 1 through 3 works. Nothing makes sense what was previously established. Yeah, like I said, dude, they said that. Basically, what Kevin Feige did, I thought he was a genius, and now I'm taking that all back. Because basically, what he did, he just took what works, everything that works within the Marvel universe, they took it from the comic books, right? The stories, the character arcs, all of that stuff. And they did an amazing job, man. Like with Captain America, my favorite character is Captain America. Well, my favorite character is Iron Man because I like Robert Downey Jr. I like the way he plays it. But the best character to me is Captain America. And the reason why I say that because if you look at First Avenger and the way he's being able to transition all the way up to what was the last one he did? No, was it Winter Soldier? It was First Avenger. Then it was Winter Soldier. Oh yeah, and then it was a Civil War, which is when they started mixing everybody in. Right. You saw him kind of change, right? Because he's the man out of time. That's the whole big tagline. And when they went with that, they went with that hardcore. I give them props for even doing the first Avenger, right? Because that's not everybody's favorite. It's like probably one of my top. It's definitely my top 5 Avengers movie. I mean, Marvel movie of all of them of all time. Just because they took the time to build that world and build that character, right? That's why when you look at Steve Rogers, when he has conflicts with Iron Man, and then when you see him kind of changing and he does the things he does in Civil War, it makes sense because you've seen the character develop through First Avenger. And that's why that First Avenger uh, movie was important. So and that's what sets DC characters apart from Marvel characters. That's why you have a Batman like you had this last Batman. I didn't get to watch it. Um, I didn't get to watch the new one, but you could do that with Batman. You don't have to always revisit Batman. Batman is Batman. Everybody knows Batman. And I think that's the chip on the shoulder that Kevin Feige has, man. He wants that recognition for Marvel characters, but that's not just you just can't make that, dude. That's built over history, dude. That's built within fandom. Right? That's how that stuff is created, man. It's not generic, dude. You just can't throw a bunch of money and put a bunch of flash on the screen, dude. That's not gonna work. Oh yeah, yeah. Product of the '90s. Like, dude, I hated that cartoon. I'm not gonna lie. I did not like that cartoon at all. I hate to say that, but I didn't. The '90s version. I thought it was so cheesy. That's just me personally. But again, this is me coming from a comic book background. I'm not saying that I'm better than, but just as a hardcore X Men fan, because I've read X Men religiously. Captain America, all 3 was those that were great. Oh wait, my favorite was Captain America. All 3 of those movies are great, and he was a hero. Not like the Black Widow movie where she's okay with her sister running. Yeah, yeah. And that's another thing a lot of people are having a problem with, man. There's no accountability, right? There's no consequences, right? In the case of Scarlet Witch, like this, like you're saying about Black Widow, Scarlet Witch was one of the worst, dude. You watch her show, man. There's nothing that happens to her, right? Which would be great if they did that. And the reason why they can't do that because they borrow that storyline. Scarlet Witch is not that powerful per se. Her power set actually in the comic book is a hex power, it's probability, right? And over time, they kind of built into her that she was more than what she was. Being the daughter of Magneto, and there's all kind of stuff they did with the story, which is fine, right? You build it up that way. But it's when she goes crazy, man, that she gets her. She's super powerful. But at least in the comic book, they realize that, right? When she blinks out all the mutants, what is that, House of M? I'm thinking of, right? But she blinks out all the mutants. She becomes so powerful. That's what the kids. That's part of the comic book story is what they're trying to do in the movies. But they built that up over time with Wanda, right? And then in a comic book, you have that ability to create those worlds where you can in a movie. So they're taking all these bits of it. So when they put it in a movie, like they'll tell you, oh, we're gonna do Scarlet Witch, like you see things from the comic books on the screen, but it doesn't hit with you and it doesn't hit with the audience because there's no connection. Yeah, I think the biggest plot hole. Yeah, House of M. Thanks, dude. I think the biggest plot hole in everything in Marvel refuses to acknowledge the consequence of being. Yeah, yep, yep. I think there is a credible storytelling potential. No, that's what they should have done. What Marvel should have done, they should have gone cosmic. I was telling my kid this. I feel sorry for my kids, man. Just sit there and listen to me rant about this stuff, you know. And they're interested, especially my son. My daughter's into animation and stuff like that, so they'll listen to me. But the first thing I was telling my kids about this stuff is, dude, you're just leaving people hanging. Like you just said, right? 5 years, nothing. Dude, if okay, I'll put it to this way, because in the comic book, right, they would do those, and I know I'm speaking to the choir, dude. I know you know this, right? Like Crisis on Infinite Earths as a DC guy, right? The Infinity one that they did, what is it, 2000? Was it 2006? Dude, my friends was giving me crap, dude. What was it? What was it called, dude? Infinity. Yeah, Crisis on Infinite Earth, Infinite Crisis, right? So I was going to the comic book store and kind of my friends, man. There, I was kind of undercover, like buying all the DC stuff, and my friends was giving me such crap, man. But it was so good, dude. It was like awesome. How they revisited that and how they made it, they modernized it, and it was cool, right? And they did the whole thing with the OMAC stuff, which was cool. How they made Batman, how they revisited that thing, how Batman doesn't trust the superhero, so he has like these files on. It was, I bought every single comic book, dude. That was every single series. And some was better than others, but they all were good and they completed the story. Infinite Crisis, 2006, dude. But everything was connected, and they were connected through titles, man. Because sometimes these guys do that stuff. Like Follow the Mutants was kind of cool, right? Like the Annihilation thing was all right for me, right? But Follow the Mutants was pretty cool how they did that. But over time, like with some of the comic books, like I'll just say it, like Power Pack and Thor, right? They were like one. They just felt like they were just putting that in there to just tie it in with other titles so they could sell more comics. Like Infinite Crisis, dude, that was the exception. That was one of the series I was like, dude, I bought that and I constantly read that. Dude, that was just so awesome. But this is what they should be doing in the movies, man. I don't know, it's a no brainer. I don't know why this dude is doing this, man. It just blows my mind, dude. I mean, I think he's just been either. I know he wants credibility for some reason from Hollywood. He is. I'm talking about Kevin Feige specifically. My favorite era of DC Comics is 96, 2010. So that near 15-year span is what? Yeah, yeah. Like I dabbled in DC, especially when Suicide Squad hit, and then Perez did Wonder Woman. You know what I heard? Hey, did George Perez pass away? I heard he passed away. Is that true? Man, that sucks if it is. I kind of saw it in a blurb earlier, and I was like, really? How old was he? No, yeah, I like those DC shows. Yeah, I kind of fell off of them when they started going woke as well, dude. Yeah, he did pass away, huh? Dang, dude. Yeah, dude, that guy was Perez was the man, dude. Because I didn't follow DC so close. Oh, he had terminal cancer last year. Oh man, dude. Rest in peace, bro. Rest in peace. And there's very few people that you can say that actually changed the industry, man. He's one of them. What he did on Wonder Woman, man, that drew me in. That's where, because I wasn't, like I said, I'm not a DC guy, dude. I didn't read Wonder Woman at all. I remember the TV show. The stuff he did with Ares was cool. Like, to me, he introduced, I loved it because he introduced more the mythology side of Wonder Woman. Because like with DC characters, at least they have different sides to them, right? You have that kind of Adam West Batman, then you have the Dark Knight Batman and stuff like that. Damn, man, I don't know, dude. I don't know what Marvel, dude. I don't know what Kevin Feige's doing. It's sad, dude. I should invite you. I'm sorry, man. I should invite you on here. I don't know how to do that though, bro. If I'm being honest, can I invite you? Do you know how? Yeah, New Teen Titans. That's right. That's right. Yeah, his art, Immortalized Crisis on Infinite Earth. Yep. Oh, that's right. He did. Yeah. I thought that was Marv Wolfman. Why was I thinking Marv Wolfman? See, dude, when you get old like me, bro, you can't keep track of all this stuff, man. I don't even have my comic books, dude. My uncle sold them all. He had a garage sale, dude. He sold all my X Men, bro. And at the time, the X Men comic books that I had were going for like $40 a pop when he sold it. Because I had the first appearance, I had the first Deadpool. Well, Deadpool and X Men. No, I mean, well, who did I have? I had Shatterstar first appearance. I had no, that was X Force, right? I had X. Oh, I had all those too. I had X Factor. First appearance Gambit, first appearance Psylocke, um, Omega Red, yeah, Omega Red. Um, dang, dude, I had like Rogue, all of those. Oh, can I? Hold on, let me try, dude. I'll try. Yeah, I'm sorry, dude. I'm ill prepared for this stuff, dude. But I definitely. Uh, Messages. Hey, bear with me, everybody. I'm trying to get my boy in here, dude, so he can help me remember stuff. Bro, what's your thing? Unlimited, right? Is it, no, what's your title on? Bro, what's your Twitter handle, dude? Come on, dude. Wait, hold on. I'll see. I'll find. Yeah, that's right. Jesus Silly. All right, I got it. I got it. I got it, bro. I can't even spell it, bro. Let me see if I can pull you up, dude. Yeah, I don't know how this works, dude. Oh, there you are. I got you. Let me see if I can search people. Yeah, I see you right there, dude. Okay. So next. Yeah. Yeah, I got the link. How do I send it to you on Twitter? Because I see your name. I see it right there. And then I'm trying to send, like, click on there. Okay, there it is. Oh, you know what? I bet you I know it's wrong. Hold on. Nope, that's not it either. Dude, this is sad. Yeah, bro, I see you, but it won't let me send. Nope. Yeah, dude, I'm sorry, bro. I'd love to get you on here. You know what we'll do, dude? We'll set something up, man. Yeah, do we follow each other on Xbox, dude? I'm bad. Hold on. I'm gonna look you up on Xbox. Yeah, I mean that. It's just. I mean, if Marvel wants to go this way, I guess that's one way to. I mean, dude, I don't even know if we're friends on this. Yeah, sorry, bro. This is sad. You know what, dude? We'll have to hook this up, man. We'll have to do one. I'll get it, dude. I'll learn how to. Oh, is that you? I don't think we follow each other though. You know, bro. I promise, man. We'll hook this up later, dude. Yeah, I'm sorry, dude. Yeah, I don't know why Twitter won't let me send it to you. That's weird. I can see your name, dude, but it won't let me send a message. Like I'm selecting you, and it just doesn't do anything. Next. Yeah, it's not letting me do that. I hate this stuff, dude. Hold on. Oh, maybe this is it. Yeah, because normally I have Twitter on my Hey, did you get it? I think I sent it to you, bro. Let me know if you get it on Twitter. I think I finally figured it out. You know, I mostly use my phone. That's why. Let me know if you see it. You know what we could do, dude? I could kill this broadcast and then we'll just because it's a live broadcast. That's all it is. I could just delete this and we could start over. Yeah, that'd be a lot more fun because I could get your react to your real time. I can't do multiple things at once. Because I should be able to like add you, right? I see you. Can you hear? Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah. How do I sound?
Dude, you sound solid, man. I can hear you. I can hear you perfectly.
Oh,
Can you hear
awesome.
me?
Yeah, yeah, man. You loud and clear too.
Man, sorry about the chickens and the roosters, man. I don't know what's going on around here, bro.
Oh, see, it's all good. It's all good.
Dude, I live in a city, man.
Oh, yeah, yeah. See, that'll do it. That'll do it.
There's people commenting to me, it's like, dude, do you live like on a farm? Where are you? I'm like, no, dude. Like I told them, dude, like Waikiki and Honolulu is right down the road from me. I'm like in this
Right,
valley.
right. Okay, so you're really out there in the heart of Hawaii then.
Oh yeah, dude. I wish I was in the country, man. Get away from all these people, man.
Yeah, I don't blame you, man. I don't blame you.
Bro, I think you're in Houston, right? Appreciate Houston, brother.
Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, man. I left the city a little while ago, so I'm on the west side of Houston, a little technically in Katy,
Yeah.
but it's just west of Houston. It's pretty much being near the city. But yeah, man, I left I left that part of the city a few years ago, man.
Yeah. That's what everybody's doing, man. They're getting away. You know, I don't blame them either. More space, less drama.
Yeah, yeah, and it's more affordable out here instead of
Mm.
being in the heart of the city.
Dude, you know the houses here in Hawaii are like 1.5 million plus.
Woo,
Like that's starting off. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I heard it was pricey out there in Hawaii. Hey, give me 1 second. I'm gonna mute myself real quick for
Yeah,
about 30 seconds.
yeah. Take your time. Yeah, guys. So we got unlimited production here. If you're Xbox man, go follow him. He does awesome content. He's taking on the mantle, man, for the Xbox community, man. You guys want the download on what's going on? You listen to this dude because he'll do videos on the breaking story. He's technically savvy. He did a video last week on the Xbox Live outage, explaining everything. I saw that, and I was kind of, I wanted to do a video on it, but
Mhm.
I couldn't speak on it, man, because I didn't have that problem. So, if you
Yeah,
guys
yeah.
want to go, oh yeah, sorry. So if you guys want to go watch a good channel, man, check out Unlimited. He covers all that stuff, dude. I saw your video, man. That was awesome.
Oh yeah, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I just saw a lot of people. See, what was happening is that people who are game sharing, they couldn't play their games, but they're making it seem like none of your Xbox games couldn't play. So you know me, man. Sometimes, like I say, the truth comes when it's needed.
Right, right. No, dude, because a lot of people, and and one thing I like about your video, because then you got people, on social media, they'd be like, "Hey, thanks, man." Then you got other people like, "Well, what, and that they don't like. That's when they don't have Xboxes, right?
Yeah.
So, if you shine that filter on them, right?
Hmm.
Like when you turn the light on and all the roaches. That's what basically it was.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Hey, that's how it is sometimes, man. That's how it is since joining the community, and it's a pleasure to be on your channel as well. Because I watched people like you for a while before I ever made a video talking about all the stuff I do. So so it's a pleasure to hear talk some Marvel, and I know some of y'all watching, seeing the Green Lantern, thinking I'm just a DC fanboy who don't know anything, but I promise you, it's not like that. You know what I'm saying?
Don't even. You don't even have to say that, man. Most of these Marvel guys they're not. They're not Marvel. Trust
Yeah.
me, man. I talk to a lot of them, and I don't need them to be. I
Hmm.
just don't like people who pretend to be. Like
Right.
people that are on. Let me see sites like comicbook.com.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
I love Guardians of the first Guardians of the Galaxy because that's the one that
yes.
blew it all up, right? Because these dudes
Hmm.
are coming up there, they're like, yeah, when Guardians of the Galaxy was awesome, and Groot and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like listening to
Hmm.
you, and I'm like, dude, this is not the original Guardians of the Galaxy.
No, no,
You know,
oh no, the original team was vastly different.
vastly different.
Yeah, yeah. They based that second one off of how was it? I think it was Annihilation Conquest, right? I think it was from that storyline,
Yeah,
that version of Galaxy. I think that's the one that they did for the movies, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah. And if you do, and if they did just a little bit of research, I like that.
Hmm.
You always say that, dude. Like a little bit of research. I love when you say that. But yeah, if they did a little bit of research, man, a lot of the stuff that they're pulling, like the Iron Man armor that they got in the
Hmm.
first one, all of that comes kind of from that time frame,
Yeah, yeah.
as far as the look, the style, and stuff like that.
Oh
What
yeah,
James,
yeah.
what James Gunn did with the first one, he went back to '70s, and that's why these guys
Hmm.
was confused. And you can't Google that crap, bro. You can't
Right.
Google that, man. And that's how those guys got busted. They were like
Yeah,
stuff that was not true at all.
yeah, yeah. And you raise a good point. I love talking with people like you and Iraq who, y'all were reading before I was even born. 'Cause like I said, I'm a product of the '90s. You know what I'm saying? That's where I grew up on. So, and that's when I started reading and finding out about this stuff. And with me, Sega Forever,
Yep.
I'm the type of guy that when I get into something, I get into it hardcore, right?
Yeah, the nitty
So,
gritty. Yeah.
I get into Xbox and now I got a massive collection of games. I get into comics and I learned the history of it and all this stuff.
Yeah, I saw
So,
you picked up. What did you pick up? Blood and oh, it's 50 cents one, right? 50 cent.
oh yeah, yeah, Blood in the Sand, Blood in the Sand. Yeah. Oh, that game was so hard to find. So when I found it for a
Yeah,
reasonable price, I jumped on it. I can't lie, man.
dude, that's like holy grail, man. That's
Yeah, yeah. That's the effect of backwards compatibility, man. A lot of those backwards compatible games, the moment they announce, they get pricey, especially some of these rare ones.
right.
Yeah, they and You know what? It's kind of crazy because even some of the Call of Duty games I see are still selling for like $50 and stuff.
Oh yeah, those
Yeah,
things. Yeah, they're like the Nintendo of of third party games. Dude,
yeah,
they never go on sale, dude. Even when they're
yeah,
on sale, they're not on sale.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
My
Yeah,
daughter gives me crap about that because I give her crap about she loves her Switch, right? So I
uh-huh.
give her crap all the time. She's like, "Oh, Dad, Pokemon's on sale," and I was like, "She goes, it's $60, but it's on sale now." So I joke with her. I was like, "What is it, like $59.45?"
Yeah.
Like I told her that she got mad.
Hey, you joke with that. That's a Nintendo sale right there,
Yeah,
man.
she
I was
knows
at
it. She
Best.
can't do
I
anything.
kid you not. Sorry to cut you off, man, but I
No, go
kid
ahead.
you not. I was at Best Buy the other during the weekend, and I saw a Nintendo game. I think it was even. I think it was no, it was Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2 on sale for $55. I'm like, that's a sale. Oh man,
What is it
Nintendo.
like that? What was that skit? I forgot the comedian who did that, man. But he was talking about when he was dealing with the car dealership, and they're like, "Okay, okay, okay, we got it, man. Final offer, final offer." And I think he like offered like 35, and the dude came back. He's like, "All right, final offer, man. Final offer, 35, 50." He's
Yeah.
like, like that. He said he just
Oh
walked
man,
that thing, dude.
back in the days when you could do comedy without getting attacked.
Oh man, it's brutal, man. You saw what happened to Dave Chappelle,
Yeah, yeah, that was wild.
dude. I don't think people understand like. Just because this dude's a comedian, man, Dave Chappelle's not a small dude, man.
Oh no, it.
He got some size to
I
it.
don't know when, but I like you remember when he first got popular, he was a pretty skinny dude.
Yeah.
Then when he took that break from Hollywood, which was the best thing he ever did, by the way.
Oh yeah. He talks
Yeah,
about
was
that.
getting away from Hollywood.
Right, right.
He bulked up, man,
He got
and
swole.
yeah, and yeah, and I really like Dave Chappelle because he doesn't follow the trend. He clearly doesn't need Hollywood, and I love I don't follow celebrities like that, Sega,
Yeah.
but guys like that who buck him and guys like Denzel Washington who aren't afraid to go against the grain and be. I mean they established themselves. They're legends in Hollywood, and so they don't need to fall in that total line,
Yeah. I agree.
like some of these other terrible comedians are who are just killing comedy, which sucks because people don't know this. I actually love comedy a lot, and I've been to plenty of comedy shows in my
Right.
lifetime, including seeing Dave Chappelle live when he came to Houston some years ago.
Oh, for real? Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah,
Cool.
I saw Dave Chappelle live in person, some years ago. So it's something that it's a form of entertainment that I have a lot of love for, and just to see how you can't tell any jokes anymore without someone getting upset. It just sucks because it's like we go from uh oh man, what was that dude's name? He was an '80s comic and he was raw too. And
Andrew
uh,
Dice Clay?
yes, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Man, but we go from days like him until now, and with these, you could tell when a comedian is playing it safe because it's just not funny. And it like for example, late night TV, right? The comedy
Yeah.
on late night TV is terrible right now because they're not even really telling jokes. They're just saying affirmations, and so audiences aren't laughing. They're just awkwardly clapping to stuff that they clearly don't even care about, and I don't like it. Sorry
No,
for the rant on comedy, but
no.
that just brought something that to mind.
No, the problem is that, comics are there to entertain. And
Yeah,
there's a message, right? But these guys come across as preachy, like 100%
yes,
preachy. That's the
yes,
problem. And
yeah,
that takes away from the funny, man, because you can't, it's just like, it was like, with like this Doctor Strange movie, right? With the character of
mhm,
Wanda. It's like they just painted himself in a corner with her, right? She's just
yeah,
so powerful, dude. That you can't really do anything with that. Especially
yeah,
these
exactly.
writers, man. Do you think these guys today can write these characters? No, they can't, dude. So to go back to your saying, I remember when Andrew Dice Clay hit because my grandmother liked watching a couple things. My grandmother didn't really
Uh
watch
huh.
TV, but she loved watching game shows.
Hmm.
She liked watching LA Law, shows like that,
Yeah.
and Trapper John MD, and then she would watch comedy. And so I remember when he hit, man. As soon as he came out on stage, my grandmother turned that
Yeah.
TV off so fast. She's like, "You better not
Uh
catch you watching this guy," because we watched like you remember Evening at the Improv
huh.
shows like that where they had these
Yeah.
comedians come on. Yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, I'm a huge fan.
Funny thing, I got into Richard Pryor
Oh yeah,
through my dad basically, because basically, one day he saw me watching some comedy show, and then he went on about he was telling me about, oh, no, you gotta watch this Richard Pryor. And I was an adult by then. He wasn't gonna let me listen to Richard as a kid,
Right.
But as so I'm an adult now, and then so I go on YouTube and find some Richard Pryor. It was some of the greatest stand up I ever saw. I'm like, oh my god,
Bro,
Richard, guys like Richard Pryor, Andrew Dice Clay, George Carlin, they would have been murdered.
yeah, dude,
if
they
they
get
performed
canceled. They
these
get canceled so fast. They're gonna go if people. What it is just a generation now. Like if they go back, that's why I don't recommend stuff to people like of a certain age, because like they're gonna go back and watch it and get offended by it, dude. And then they'll cancel these guys, man, because they can't handle it. Like my story with Richard Pryor, my uncle had a bunch of 8 tracks.
Mm-hmm.
So I would go into his room and then listen to it. And, my uncle's like on the road a lot. He's an entertainer. And
Yeah.
so I would listen to all the stuff in there. Like he had 8 track Christopher Cross, he had 8 track Saturday Night Fever, Bee Gees, right? And then I would just use his radar, stick it in. And he had a comedy tape, 8 track of Richard Pryor.
Uh-huh.
And so then I plugged it in there, and that's how I heard it, man. My grandmother whooped my ass, dude.
Oh.
She came home, bro. I didn't know she was home. She heard all this stuff.
God. Yeah. You can't be caught listening to Richard, man.
Oh, dude, I got, dude. She tore me up.
Yeah, man. You can't get caught listening to Richard, man. But
Well,
yeah.
But it was kind of weird, man, because my grandmother, like one of my all-time favorite movies. I don't know. You ever watch Car Wash?
Yes.
The original.
Yeah. Because I remember they did a remake around 2001 with Snoop Dogg and Eminem and all them.
Yeah.
So I vaguely remember the old school version that you're talking about. I more so remember the remake, to be honest.
Well, I remember like my grandmother. Well, it was syndicated at this time, right?
Uh-huh.
So then Richard Pryor's in there, dude, and he plays like this. What is that? What do they call this? He's a minister, right?
Uh-huh.
And then Bill Duke's in it, dude. Dick Ivory Dixon. This is like an all-star cast, dude. George Carlin's even in there. He plays like a taxi driver.
Yeah.
And there's this part where he comes in there, dude, and he plays this minister, right? And he has this line in there, and my grandmother was laughing, and I'm sitting over there thinking to myself, man, I got my ass whooped. My ass because I was listening to this comedy. Now, mind you, it was toned down.
Yeah.
Right? But my grandmother liked him because he was this minister, and then Bill Duke was this guy, and he's like he was kind of like more like a militant dude.
Uh-huh.
Like Islam guy and stuff like that. You should watch it, dude. I don't know but go back and watch it, dude. And Bill Duke like Bill Duke was insulting him, right? And then Richard Pryor he says something like, "Man, if I wasn't a man of God, I'd come down right now and whoop your ass." Like he says it like that. And my grandmother starts busting out laughing.
Oh, no.
He got the ass part, right? And then that's why, dude. You just can't have comedy. You can't have comedy like that these days.
Yeah. I gotta check that one out. A while back, and thanks to Iraq, Iraq, he does his movie reviews on Instagram, right?
Yeah.
And so he was reviewing a lot of those old Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor movies.
Oh, dude, they're classic, man.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, are they classic?
Crazy, Silver Streak.
Yeah. Stir Crazy and all that. Yeah, man, so I went ahead and watched them.
Yeah.
Man, oh my goodness, are they hilarious? Sega Forever. They were just, oh man, they were hilarious. I was like, but it kind of sucks being in modern day because you watch it, you die laughing, but at the same time you come to realization those movies will never be made these days.
No, you can't.
Even though they're downright hilarious and some of the funniest movies I've ever seen.
Dude, Blazing Saddles. I remember watching Blazing Saddles. Dude, I felt guilty, man, because the language and everything in there.
Yeah.
So, if there's people that are reacting to it on YouTube,
mm-hmm.
So I was like younger guys, and they're not too much younger than me, right? And then they're watching it, and then they use words in there that today are taboo.
Oh yeah, very.
But when you watch their reaction, dude, they feel like cringe. Like it's weird, dude. I watched that and I'm like, wow, dude, this is really like. This generation's really bothered by it. I'm not saying that the words are good, but it's funny because they're canceling these shows, right? And I laugh because I'm like, these shows were made to because of the message, but they have to be subtle about it, right? Because you
exactly,
like we grew up watching Jeffersons and Sanford and Son, Good Times, right?
Right.
Facts of Life and even Growing Pains, man. You go back now and you watch them; they have messages in them, but they just didn't hit you over the head with it.
And that's how it should be, though, in my opinion, because those are the best way to get the messages across. I don't need
Yeah.
look, I don't need to watch a movie for 2 hours and be told racism is bad. I already know it's bad.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
you've experienced it. I'm pretty sure. So,
Yeah, yeah. I already know it's bad. I don't need to watch it. Just make it entertainment and then do it subtle enough so that the audience gets some enjoyment out of it and understand it. That's all you really need to do.
no, that's how people are, man. Even with like, I have to go to training, right, because of my job, right, and they'll talk to me, and of course, I'm Hawaiian, right, and I'll be in the training, man, and people be like, oh, it's too bad what happened to Hawaiians and all this kind of stuff, right. And they'll talk about me, but they don't like know, right? It's just like, dude, do you know that I've lived like in all different states in this country? I've been in areas where there's not like nobody like me at all,
Mhm.
right? At all, like zip zero zilch, man. I'm like the last of the Mohicans, bro. That's how like the only people that can get probably Hawaiians and run for their money is like some of these Indian tribes or Native
Yeah,
American tribes, right? Like that's how like, dude, we're like the unicorns and stuff, right?
yeah.
Even if you come to Hawaii, man, a lot of the people here, not all of them are Hawaiian. Like a lot of
Mhm.
people are mixed, right? That's just the culture here,
Right, 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 right.
right? So it's just like when these guys talk to me, I'm like, yeah, dude, you don't have to tell me that, bro. I know, you know what I'm saying? Like I live it every day,
Yeah,
So,
yeah, exactly.
man, it's crazy though, but it's like you were saying with these, I don't know, man. I don't know where entertainment goes from here, man.
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah,
where entertainment goes from here.
yeah. Yeah, it's weird because I mean, there's still good stuff, but I just, I guess my fear is that one day a lot of the good writers and actors and producers who get it are going to retire. I don't know if the next breed has that same in them. And I can't stomach watching preachy stuff, man. I didn't even like preachy. For example, I didn't like preachy cartoons as a kid. Like my favorite cartoons was stuff like X-Men and Batman and Eat the Cat. Violent cartoons and stuff,
Right.
right? The cartoons I hated was stuff like Captain Planet because it was just 30 minutes of telling me how awful I am for destroying the planet.
That's why you're dealing with all these people now, man. They grew up on Captain Planet.
Yeah, yeah.
That's some
So,
shit lame.
so yeah, so even as a kid, I never liked being preached to, especially with these obvious messages.
Yeah.
I could kind of see if they were saying something new, but almost I can't think of the last time, say forever, I watched something and it had a new original message that I've never, really seen before.
Right. Right. I mean, everything is pretty much borrowed, right? So it takes a lot for them to do something that's
Yeah.
fresh and new, and that takes talent, man. That takes skill. That actually
Hmm.
takes a lot. I think that's one of the problems. And it's me too, man. I mean, I tell my kids all the time, look, it's like, Dad, did you like the movie? Like we watched the Shang-Chi,
Uh-huh.
and then it's like, Dad, didn't you like the movie? And this is my kids, right? So I'm like, oh, I thought the martial arts was pretty awesome. I try
Yeah.
finding stuff to do, but for me personally, I'm like, man, that movie was. And it's not so much that it sucked just to suck. It's just like there was so much potential, man. Like
Yes.
if they had somebody that actually, like to me, if they had somebody that was looking at it as a fan or as
Hmm.
somebody that loves that universe,
Yeah.
or actually read the comic books, like you don't have to be a purist, man. In fact, it's
Yeah.
probably best that you're not a purist. Like with me, I check myself all the time.
Hmm.
That's why I try to tell people, look, man, don't take I'm a comic book guy, so take it. You gotta take what I say with a grain of salt.
Hmm.
But if they just had a person with just like maybe like even a tenth to understand the type of character that Shang-Chi is and not, as soon as they started talking about the representation thing, and then
Yeah.
trying to compare it to Black Panther, right? I was like,
Yeah.
oh.
You got it. Yeah, you got to tone it down with stuff like that. Um.
Well, then people would get mad at me because I was like, because I fall in that Asian Pacific Islander group.
Right.
That's where they got me, right?
Hmm.
People would tell me about Black Panther. I was like, it's not the same thing. And it's like, no, we have struggles too. I'm like, dude, it's not the same, bro. And then I break it down to them in a way that I hope they understand. I was like, dude, you guys might not know this, man, but you guys don't read the comic book. But Black Panther is huge in the Marvel comic books. I knew
Yeah.
about it for the longest time. I read his actual own comic book, and he actually led the. But dude, he's like one of the main people. He's a main Avenger.
Yeah.
People
He,
who read his comic book know who he is.
he was part of the Illuminati
Yeah, he was
in the
part of the
comics
Illuminati.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so that's another.
and
That's what I meant by a throwaway in your comic. In your comic,
yeah.
like where's he? Where's Namor? Right?
Hmm. Yeah, and in the comics, maybe it's a little too nerdy to always say in the comics when talking about this stuff, but that's the source material. That's where they get this stuff from.
Yep.
right? And that's where the heart of this thing is, right? So in the comics, Black Panther, he was a voice of reason when the Illuminati was really tripping, especially towards the Hulk. And people
Yep.
think that just because I like DC, I don't know anything about Marvel. That's not true. I just more familiar with DC. But
Right.
I read my fair share of like, oh, I showed E-Rock a long time ago some comics I found when I was cleaning up Sega Man. I mean Sega Forever, and it was Black Panther comics. I was showing up, yeah, because after the Black Panther movie came out,
Right.
and a lot of people loved it and stuff like that, and that's great and all, but a lot of them also act like they were Black Panther fans before, and I don't gatekeeper none of that stuff.
Right.
I
Right.
don't
Right.
usually care, but when they come around at trying to treat me like I didn't think it was the greatest movie in the world. I enjoyed it for what it was, right? But
Yeah.
when they act like I'm this and this and that because I didn't worship the movie, because like, yeah, I read him in the comics. He's been one of my favorite superheroes before he was ever thought of to be put in a movie. So it's nothing against the movie. It was a fun movie, a good origin story. The acting was great, and rest in peace to Chadwick Boseman, he solidified his status as Black Panther. But as great as he was, and he was perfect for the role, I still, that's not my introduction to that world and that universe and reading stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, see, and in Civil War, right? How's that introduction to him? That's how you introduce a character.
Yeah, yeah, that was
You know,
fantastic.
it's just like when he hit, and then of course people were anticipating, right? And there's a build up online. People
Hmm.
like us who know who he is,
Yeah,
right? Well, then he had a little bit of that going into it. But when he hits the screen for the first time, dude, boom, that's the kind of impact you make with a
yes,
character, right? I
yeah,
don't know why Marvel just did that with him, and then when you have these new characters like America Chavez and stuff like that,
right. Yeah,
and
they don't leave an impact on you.
there's no impact. And regardless if people know who they are, there's things you can do because they've done it in the comic books where when
Hmm.
they hit, it has to hit like hard, especially if a person they don't know.
Yeah,
You know? But when Chadwick Boseman plays, um, what's his name, dude,
Black
T'Challa.
Panther.
When he's playing T'Challa,
Oh, yeah, T'Challa. Yeah,
right? Like proper, like the prince, right?
yeah.
The great thing about him is there's that royalness about him, right? He has
Hmm.
the hubris, right? He has the right amount of being reserved, but
Right,
just majestic.
all right.
So then when you see him like that, and then when you see the Black Panther, because most people knew that was the Black Panther was him,
Hmm.
and kind of figured it out, right? So no surprise there. But when he hits that screen the way he did, dude, everybody's like, whoa.
Yeah, yeah.
And go ahead, brother.
Um, so one thing I do when I see these movies in theaters, right, is that I kind of gauge the audience reaction, and I do that because of the Spider-Man 3, right?
Right.
Spider-Man 3 back in 2007. I said, I remember that like it was yesterday because I took a girl on a date actually, and that movie was so boring. We felt like we left a funeral instead of seeing a movie. And so ever since then, I kind of like to just get a sense of the audience reaction. And when Black Panther showed up in Civil War, they erupted, and it was a great moment. You know what I'm saying?
No, yeah, yeah.
It's just like being at a wrestling match instead of a movie theater and stuff like that. And then
And then
fast forward,
everything was set up perfectly from
yeah.
the camera angles, the battle. I mean, that was an pretty epic battle fight scene sequence. Oh, hello. Go ahead. Did I block
Oh,
you?
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Can you hear me?
yes, I can.
Okay, yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, yeah. And as I was going to say, fast forward to Doctor Strange. We saw it this weekend,
Yeah.
and nobody was reacting. The only thing that got a reaction was Black Bolt's death. That's the only thing that got a reaction. The jokes, uh, the jokes.
Yeah.
I've been hard on Marvel with their jokes for the longest. To say they fell flat in the first, the opening scene, the first battle scene. They're still doing the quippy, corny stuff,
Yeah.
and none of them landed. You know, and I don't know, and it's weird because I wonder if through testing the audience reacted the same, so they took out the jokes in the rest of the movie because the rest of the movie was actually played straightforward.
Well, I think because they had done so much, you heard about all the reshoots they did.
Hmm.
Um, it's like an amalgamation of all these movies. These guys just got too much. Marvel's having their Sony moment right now, right? Where
Yeah,
Sony was like the big dog, and I don't think they were, but everybody says, "Oh, it's PS4, PS4, PS4," right? And then so they were like that big dog, where everybody had that idea of them being the big dog. That's what Marvel's doing right now. They're going through that phase right now, and then they're at a peak, and now they're starting to come down because
you're right.
they're too high minded, man. They think they can do nothing wrong, and when you
Yeah,
think that way, it's over, bro.
yeah. And to piggyback off that, Sega Forever. Unfortunately, they're still so popular that even when the movies don't necessarily review well, they're still making their money back. So and that's what they see first and foremost is if these movies are making money or not.
Well, we'll see, dude. We'll see. That second week drop is that's what I'm looking at. That second
Yeah.
week drop because they don't have. Did they release in China? I think. Did they release in China? I don't
Uh,
think they did, huh? Or
I
did they?
think I think it did because I remember reading that they didn't censor the two moms line or something like that over there.
Well, they don't. It probably didn't. It probably got lost in translation because
Yeah.
they did that. You know what blew me up about that? I'm like looking at that. So she has that. Do you see that pin on her jacket, right?
Uh-huh.
So that's basically like a rainbow flag pin or whatever.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. I
Yeah.
completely.
So when I looked at it, they kind of try to make it look kind of, but you can tell, right? Like
Yeah, 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 yeah.
anybody who looks at it, okay, what do you see what they're doing? But then when she has her flashback, right? She's like
Uh-huh.
from an alien planet,
Yeah.
and she has a name America.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's it. My dude,
I was like, huh?
I didn't even think of that, man. That is a wonderful point.
Dude, that whole movie is like that, and that's why I was trying to sit there, just keep my mouth shut, because I got my two kids there
Uh-huh.
and trying to enjoy their. My daughter got her favorite loaded baked potato fries. My
Right.
son got the M&Ms. Right, they're just trying to take it in for what it's worth, and
Hmm.
I'm just trying to sit there, trying not to be that prick dad.
Right, right. That ruins it or nothing. Or
Yeah, it's like, oh no, in issue number 175. I don't want to be that guy. I'm just trying to. I'm just sitting there the whole time. I'm not gonna lie, dude. I got my seat back just the whole time, just kind of keep my mouth shut.
right, right.
That's how my experience was.
Hey, hopefully they enjoyed it or so, got some entertainment out of it at least.
Well,
Because I.
I like the critique my kids had because my
Mhm.
daughter comes from it from artistic and kind of stuff because she's into anime and
Okay, okay.
books and she draws. She's a pretty good artist. I'm not saying that my
Oh,
daughter. In fact, my daughter told me like, "Dad, am I a good artist?" I said, "Oh yeah, baby. Because if you sucked, I'd tell you."
Yeah, yeah,
And she goes, "Dad, really?" I was like, "Yeah, I grew up reading. I grew up looking at some of the best art the comic book industry ever produced.
yeah,
If you weren't good enough, I'd be honest with you. I wouldn't be able to help myself. I would tell you if you're not good." And I was straightforward with her, and so she's pretty good. Like
yeah,
she could cut the mustard, especially with the crap they got coming out nowadays. I don't know how these guys
yeah.
are artists. Anyway, sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you. But
No, 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 man. Hey, I always value people like your opinion, so I'm just kicking back listening. I mean, that's great. She's into art, and it sounds like she thinks critically about it and stuff too. Uh, yeah, because I mean, the movie, it was, I don't know, man. I didn't for a movie called Multiverse of Madness. There was nothing madness about it. They go
it
to
was
two,
maddening.
yeah,
It was
yeah.
maddening. It was
They go
aggravating.
to two universes. I'm like, that's not a multiverse of madness. That's just going to they basically just should have went to a different planet.
Yeah.
If that's the case. They didn't look that unique. Doesn't look different. The
Nope.
only cool thing was seeing Patrick Stewart. That was really cool
That was cool.
because again, that's what I grew up on and all that stuff. And
Yeah,
and
that's the '90s cartoon. That
Yeah, 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 and
that was
that's
cool.
another thing. I'm not the biggest nostalgia guy, if I'm to be honest with you. So I don't constantly need references. And this
Right.
movie was a reference fest, man. It seemed like I don't know what Kevin Feige tells these directors, but to have somebody like Sam Raimi and not give him the creative freedom he deserved, and
Yeah.
have him put all these references and all this stuff, it really took away from the film. These movies don't I feel like they could connect these movies without pretty much making it, hey, did you see this show? Did you see this movie? Did you see this show? Hey, remember that line from that movie? You know what I'm saying? that you could still make a Doctor Strange sequel, cut out the fat and all that stuff that didn't work, and I think it'll still fit in the continuity of MCU. But and this could just be me. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm overanalyzing. But I came out of this movie with the same problem I've been having with these movies for a while. Sega Forever. They
Yep.
just feel like 2 hour ads, and
Yeah.
and it's so obvious that they, for example, America Chavez had no character, and it's clear that they're going to put her in some TV show where she does something wacky, or become a smart talker like every other Marvel hero. You
Right.
know what I'm saying?
No, right. And to add to what you're saying, man, they don't have the gravitas of like the Iron Man and the Thor and the storyline from back then, right? Because they're disconnecting from all that moving forward, so they
Yeah,
have nothing to really hold it down.
yeah.
So that's like I'm telling you, man. You read some of the normies that are out there, right?
Hmm.
Their comments, they like I saying, they know something's wrong. They can't put their finger on it, but it's exactly what you said. You've known this for a while, right?
Yeah.
So you know that, right? But these guys have been kind of caught up in like the Marvel Cinematic Universe of the way they've been telling these stories, and
Hmm.
now the shine's starting to fall off, right? So where you are, where I am at, when it comes to these movies, right?
Yeah.
They're gonna get it eventually, and then that's when the problems are gonna start for.
Yeah. 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 And then it's a shame too because I forget how long these Marvel movies been going on, man, and it's going on long enough where I'm seeing people in their early 20s saying stuff like, "I grew up on Iron Man." Now,
Yeah.
me who was an adult when it came out, like, you grew up on Iron Man, but still, these movies been around for a minute, and it's a shame to see what it's turning into for people who grew up on that stuff, man.
Well, they're gonna run into this issue like with my kids.
Mhm,
They're in it because I was in it,
mhm.
and so I think like for me, they came in on a good time,
Right,
and of course they know they've read comic books and stuff like that. So
right.
I don't push a lot of it on them, but Disney's got to realize this is what they ran into the problem with Star Wars.
Mhm,
I'm only telling you this because this was an eye opener to me, man. My kids don't have any real connection. Just my daughter recently, because she
mhm,
started watching Clone Wars.
mhm,
But like my kids, as a hardcore Star Wars fan as I am, yeah,
mhm.
my kids have no inclination to know about Star Wars for the longest time. And
Right,
so, what Disney better wake up to do, to wake up to this, is like they need to figure out a way to capture these kids because these kids nowadays, like to them, like Iron Man is just something on a shirt,
right.
or when you go into GameStop to pick up to pick up the latest video game, they see like a shirt, hey, that's cool, or a hat, or maybe pick up
Mhm.
a Funko Pop. That's not how you build fandom, dude.
Yeah, yeah. You brought up a good point, man, and this is why I love talking with guys like you on these things. Disney. I keep for the amount of times I forget Disney owns these properties
Mhm.
is really it probably showing that I'm getting old, man. Because I forget at the heart of this stuff, it's probably is Disney is the reason why this stuff keep happening. Uh, uh, Disney buys these great IPs that people love and then just turn into Disney, where it's a marketing, it's a these
Mhm.
it really does suck just to see how the soul of it is gone. Sega forever, man. And
Well,
I
I will say this, like the
uh
Star Wars Galaxy, that the hotel they've been talking about.
huh.
So I've seen stuff on it, like people are showing me, and
Mhm.
personally, I don't have a problem with it, and I can say that because I'm a huge Disney fan,
Right,
so I don't have a problem in it because that's Disney.
right,
Now the other side of me, that's a Star Wars fan, and where people are having problem with because it's not Star Wars, dude.
right,
So for me, it's kind of like, why did you even do that? You shouldn't have
right.
done it at all, because it's basically Disney Star Wars, which is what it is.
Yeah.
So it's the Disneyfication of Star Wars. Just like I'll use this as an example, dude. Since I'm, like there's a movie called what do they call it, Moana, right?
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. I remember that movie.
So like I like some of my family watched it, right? Then they're like, there's nothing, like they look at it, or I'll just put it to this way: some of the people I work with, right?
Hmm.
They watched it, it's like, oh, that was a great thing, how they showed Hawaiian stuff, and I'm like, oh, well, that's not real Hawaiian stuff; it's Polynesian. It's actually South Sea.
Right.
See, and then they were like, "Oh, did that offend you?" I'm like, "No, I didn't. That didn't offend me. I loved it." He goes, "Oh, you loved it because they were like, oh, The Rock was the voice, or they're showcasing my race or culture or whatever."
Hmm.
And I looked at him, I was like, "No, I liked it because it's a Disney movie.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
like a totally Disney movie. I love Disney
yeah.
movies. I love Disney animated movie. I like the songs. I like all that stuff. I grew up on that stuff. So I'm a
Right,
Disney
right.
fan,
Yeah,
right? So I was trying to tell them is just like this. This is what I call the Disneyfication of it. It's
uh-huh.
Disneyfication because in order for it to appeal to me, I would prefer. I was more impressed of it being a Disney production than that The Rock was in it. The Rock was
Right,
cool in it
right.
because I didn't know he could sing like that. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So sorry,
yeah.
I mean.
No, 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 no. You brought us a fantastic point. And funny enough, my girl loves the Disney movies. So I've been watching a lot of them with her too when we do our movie nights. And it's kind of crazy to see the stark difference from something like Moana, which we watched together,
Yeah.
and then like the same night we watched that Turning Red movie, and that movie is not good.
Oh, you don't
And
like that? Yeah. Me and my kids, we love that movie. But yeah, no, go ahead, go ahead.
oh, I'm not going to hate on the movie
No, you
that you
can hate
guys
all you
love.
want to, dude. No.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't enjoy it personally. I got the message. I got to know that stuff. But that movie was like, woo. I'm clearly not the audience for it. Then I'll put it that way. Because I came out of that one like the and another issue I had, it had the same message of that El Calante. What's that movie called? The Spanish movie.
Oh yeah, I didn't watch that one.
Okay. Oh, I'm not gonna spoil it then. I'm not gonna
Oh
spoil it.
yeah, I don't. You can spoil it, dude. I don't care.
Okay, yeah. Turning Red had the same movie as that one, and that one was a lot better. The music in that one was a lot of fun,
Yeah.
and I like the character struggle more in that one compared to Turning Red. And unfortunately, um, and yeah, unfortunately, you know what I'm saying? What was I about to say? Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, when it has similar messages and stuff for movies that release close together, it just doesn't feel as creative.
Well, the reason why, because I guess my daughter can identify, and my son can identify because the message in there was of the parents, right? How the mom was constantly over them.
Hmm.
So like my kids are part like Hawaiian and Japanese.
Right,
So their mom is Japanese. So the mom.
right.
So as my kids are watching that, right? My kids are just watching it. That's why I think I enjoyed it more because like we could identify with it more. But
Hmm.
I was enjoying the movie, watching the movie, watching my kids watch the movie.
Right.
Like when the mom would do certain things to the daughter, my son and my daughter would just kind of sit there and watch that and be like, oh, like they would do stuff like that, right? That Tiger Mom thing is real, dude. So
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
and there was this whole boy band K-pop thing
Uh huh.
that my daughters and my son struggle with at school, right?
Hmm.
Not struggle. It's not. It's like it's bad, but it's I live in Hawaii, dude. So
Yeah.
Asian influence here is really strong. So
Right.
so K-pop is a big thing. So like
Yeah.
they talk about like BTS and all
Hmm.
this stuff. So yeah, so I'm saying so that's probably why we looked at it. Like I thought it was funny because it had like stuff that we could identify with more.
Yeah. 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 That's understandable. I don't relate. I definitely, didn't relate to. I mean, I got it. I completely understood the message and all that stuff.
Yeah, but
And
there's a feminist message, right? There's
yeah,
girl power. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So it's just like with me, some people are like, I remember what's the movie that came out after Moana? It was the one the Day of the Dead one.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh,
I that might even actually be the name of it. But I remember what you're talking about.
yeah, it was. But I love that movie.
Coco or something like that.
Yeah, Coco.
Yeah.
So I absolutely love that movie, man. And then so my friend at work was like, "Well, I mean, it's not better than Moana." I was like, "Actually, I like it better than Moana." And they're like, "What? How could you do that?" And I'm like, "What do you mean? How could I do that?" I'm like, "Dude, it's just I like the songs better." And then
Yeah.
the color, and then it's just like sometimes if you like I live in Hawaii, so sometimes I gotta check myself too because people are like, "Oh, dude, you have all these beaches and all this stuff." So I see it every day, dude. I drive to drive past it. So like sometimes I see people sharing this stuff, and they're like, "Oh, like when I see tourists buying seashells in a gift shop, I just want to go over there and just slap it out of their hand." I said, "Dude, just walk to the beach and grab some." Just the shells are right on the beach, dude. You're paying like $20 for that show.
Right.
So I gotta check myself right when I do that. But yeah, dude, it's just like Coco to me, like the colors, the story. I liked it better, right?
Yeah.
Of the connection. Just it had more of a twist. Like Moana, I liked it, but I
Mhm.
kind of could see where it's going to. But with Coco, it had a little bit more of a, yeah, it was actually more of an interesting twist. So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
anyway, sorry, dude, didn't mean to.
No. 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 You
So wait,
good?
but so you guys watched Doctor Strange, and you're saying, was it you're saying about the reaction, that the audience reaction? It wasn't.
Yeah. 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 The audience reaction. Yeah. Oh. I mean, look, when we left the theater, my
Yeah.
girl was like, "I don't even know how to feel about that movie."
Right.
You
Yeah.
know, and she's usually the type that eats stuff like that up. You know, I heard another guy saying how he didn't like it and things like that. So it's weird. It's weird to see just the turn of the audience just turn because the stuff stuff like the jokes in the beginning there that fight against not the octopus dude who the um stuff like that would have killed the audience. It would have been a killer in the audience some years ago, but now nothing, you know. And the cookie cutter message didn't work for them or nothing. And uh I don't think people connected with America Chavez. I know I sure didn't. And I gotta be honest with you, said forever. At the end, when Doctor Strange told her to believe in herself, I was rolling my eyes because I was like, "Is this really? Is this really the only? Is this really the only thing that we could do with teenagers in this stuff, man? It's the most the most the easiest 1 2 3 message you could do. And that was all that was the best they could do, is just tell her to believe in herself, and now she can control her powers perfectly. It was stuff like that is clearly not working anymore,
Right.
and these characters aren't strong enough to hold stuff like that together. Because you could for example, Iron Man 3. I personally don't like Iron Man 3, but I remember the audience in that movie were dying laughter at everything Tony, because Robert Downey Jr. was Tony Stark.
Yeah.
So so
He sells
so
that.
yeah, so everything he did, the audience was reacting to everything. Even so I came out. I at least appreciate that about the movie, even if I didn't personally like it. But none of that was in Doctor Strange, man. And it's clear that this stuff isn't working on audiences anymore.
Well, I'm glad you used Iron Man 3 because I would get killed by people. This is why I stopped talking to like the normies, right? Because Iron Man 3, I don't definitely was not one of the better art. It's like it's on it's I'll put that on the lower end. As far as overall, but I love that movie because there's stuff in there that they talk about that I love. But at the same time, I'm kind of mad watching it because like they put AIM in there, right? So I don't know if you know what AIM is.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah, Advanced Idea Mechanics, right?
Yeah.
I always loved them in the comic books. They were goofy. They were like goofy looking, right? But it was a total 70s thing, right? Just the way they made them. But one thing that was cool about AIM is what like AIM was like this organization. Like they would come up with this stuff, but they had like no moral. You know what it reminded me of? Like Elon Musk. And I'm not trying to
Yeah.
bust on Elon Musk, right? But Elon Musk has a certain way of thinking,
Yeah.
right? And he has a certain way of doing stuff. Like he was talking about how he wants like when he's talking about the future, right? How he looks at people like doing cybernetic implants, like we
Hmm.
start modifying ourselves. But the way he talks about it, right? It sounds cool. Like he's because he's saying it's like, oh, it's kind of cool and stuff like that. But like 5 minutes later, when he's done talking, he sits there and goes, man, that's kind of sad. It's like that's kind of sounds evil, right?
Yeah.
And so that's AIM. That's what I always loved about AIM, right? They have this kind of like that they're not held back by anything, but they kind
Hmm.
of need to be. So it kind of like so to me, like they would reflect on the good side of Tony Stark because Tony Stark had issues, right?
Yeah.
But at least Tony Stark he had that hero about him, but he at least had a some moral strand that was
Hmm.
separated from the guy. So I like that they put them in there, but there was none of that in there, right? And then and I wanted to see that, dude. I wanted to see, and they did the whole armor wars thing, but it wasn't really the armor wars thing. Like they did the armor that he like how that was cool how he called all the armor right together. Which dude, come on, it's just like it was there, and I kind of liked it because they put it in there, but I didn't like it because they just kind of just like with Doctor Strange, I was telling you, it felt like a throwaway. Like I wish they would have used it more or built up on it some other way than just doing it that way. And that's the problem I've had with Marvel, um, in general, right? And so this is why I mean to this day, man. When I was watching that movie, I'm like, gosh, man. Again, to bring up the Illuminati, they had Shuma Gorath in there. Even my son kind of flinched when he was in his seat, right? Because he kind of stood up and he looked at me because my son loves Marvel versus Capcom.
Right.
So that's who he knows Shuma Gorath from.
Hmm.
And I
Yeah.
know Shuma Gorath, of course, from the comics.
Right.
So we have that kind of connection. But then he saw Shumagorath and he got happy. And then Shumagorath just kind of dies. And it was funny because after this movie, like we came home and we're in the kitchen. He goes, Dad, that's Shumagorath. I was like, I know, right? They just took him out. He goes, yeah. And my son said this to me. He goes, man, I wish he was that easy to kill on the video game. My son was like, he's so cheap on that game, Dad. You can't kill him. I'm like, yeah, I know, but this is the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's like, Shumagorath. Yeah, okay. So I was telling my son, well, it's the multiverse, so maybe that's like son of Shumagorath. So maybe the Shumagorath we love is like in some other alternate universe. And when you start, as a person, when you start justifying stuff like that in a movie, whether it's during the movie or you're talking about it after, that's never a good thing. And that's something Marvel is not cognizant of. They whether they want to believe this or not, they built a fandom that has that expects a certain thing, that expects a certain because the foundation's been laid. And there's certain canon now that they expect from Marvel in the cinematic universe. And Marvel's just like, da-di-da-di-da-di-da, just throwing stuff up on a screen. Like you're saying, oh, let's go to this multiverse, right? Or let's make the Illuminati, let's just put this person and this person in there. And it's going to wear thin. Anyway,
Right.
in my
Yeah, exactly, man.
So would you recommend this movie?
No. Even if you like these Marvel movies, I don't get it. Watch it when it's on a streaming service.
Yeah.
Save your money. If I'm to be honest with you, it's super mediocre. I thought Elizabeth Olsen as Scarlet Witch was clearly the best part. Everything else just didn't work for me. And they now they made her so powerful. When she comes back, I'm not sure what they're gonna do. If they throw her back on the Avengers, she might as well just alter reality or something on bad guys now.
Dude, that should not happen, but I would not be surprised if she just shows up and like, yeah, welcome back.
Yeah. I mean, her powers. I mean, I had to. I'm trying to figure out if her powers even match up with the comic because a lot of it don't even make sense between the.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. Because I mean, I know that she does the magic and the hexes and all that stuff. I know enough about that, and I know that she was powerful enough to change reality in the House of M story, but
Look what happened.
But people get superpowers. Didn't people get superpowers from her and stuff like that in the TV show, and then in the movie, she could jump through realities and stuff. I don't know. I don't. The level of her power level now just completely lost me. Even though I still think she did a great job with her acting in the movie. She is definitely the best parts to me. But one good actor doesn't make a good movie. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it just feels for me. I absolutely agree with you 100%. Even Benedict Cumberbatch, all the guys in there, right, that they brought in, but it's not. They can only do so much at what they have, And she was the highlight. It's just that her character was just horrible, just horribly done, like horribly written. The lines they gave her, she had some pretty solid lines, but then some of that stuff was just cringy. Like one of the best lines that they had in there was the lunchbox thing, right? Doctor Strange turns to her and says, "Yeah, I'll get you back on the lunchbox," because at least they acknowledged that she had an issue, but they never really acknowledge it, dude. She took over a city and just basically controlled people.
Right.
For a long period of time, dude, and she just kind of ended up walking away from there. So that's what I'm saying. She's an evil character, but she has no consequences, so you don't feel for it. And even in House of M, like you can refresh my memory if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, she was powerful, but she lost her mind.
Right.
So in order for her to be that's why I was trying to explain to my kids, look, you can have that. There has to be a give and take, dude. If people don't identify with you some way, or whether you like the way they did it or not, but she basically has no consequences, and then she becomes her own savior in the movie, right? And then you're like, okay, yeah. So she has cosmic level powers, which she never had, right? In fact, the stone that Vision had, I can't remember it now, but I don't think that's the reality stone, right? That was the I forgot what stone that was. But Vision had that stone, and then she
Oh,
has
yeah, I think they had the Mind Stone.
they had the Mind Stone, and then but her powers are more in line with reality, the Reality Stone, because she just can just warp stuff, which makes sense,
Mm-hmm.
right? So if you could take the Reality Stone and then add it to her power set that she has now, and
Mm-hmm.
she's using the Darkhold and Vishanti and all this other crap, right? All the books, right? Then maybe that then maybe you could make me suspend belief for like 5 minutes until you do something else that's stupid that doesn't make sense. And that's what drives me nuts about these movies, man. I'm just like sitting there, just like I just see all the plot holes. I'm like, I can't. I need it to make sense somewhat, you know. Look,
Mm-hmm.
we're science fiction fans. We're comic book fans, dude. We live in this stuff, so you know what I mean. I
Right.
watch science fiction shows where people are going at warp drive, right? People are jumping into hyperspace, so it doesn't take much to make me suspend disbelief. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
when it's
Oh,
this bad,
well, the thing about suspending disbelief is that uh anyone could do it as long as what you're watching makes sense.
yeah,
It's when you start questioning things too much that's when it becomes hard to just just accept what you're watching
right,
as what it is,
right.
if that makes any sense.
No, 100%. So when they put messages in there, that's even worse, right? Because it's like, what does that have to do
Mhm.
with what's going on? Like for me, I'm kind of listening to it. Like they said, the message which throws everything off, but then I'm like, yeah, but you're not even focusing on what you're supposed to be focusing on to make it even a good movie. You could even put messages in there, but the messages have to not distract. So you have all this stuff going on in this movie that's just distracting me as opposed to entertaining me.
Right.
Yeah, it was a yeah. So I totally agree with you. It cost me $21 to see this movie for myself.
Hmm.
I'm usually, my kids. I forgot that they weren't kids
Right.
anymore because I'm just so used to clicking kids, and
Hmm.
I hadn't been to a movie theater in I don't know how long.
Yeah,
So I
same.
just yeah. So I had my profile. I clicked on everything. I went through. I felt bad. I was like, oh wait, maybe I should change this. Then I saw the price. I'm like, oh no, it's okay. I just scanned my thing at the
Yeah.
theater. Yeah, I just take the ticket, and I'm glad I did because that wasn't worth the price of admission. So I 100% from not just from a financial, just from a you can't get that time back
You're
perspective.
right. Right. Yeah.
If you get just wait for it on Disney Plus because you probably need to wait for it because you have to you like watch the first half an hour of Doctor Strange
Hmm.
on Disney Plus, then you have to pause it and go watch WandaVision. Probably didn't watch WandaVision. Oh, wait, I gotta
Right.
watch WandaVision, so you got that working out for you. Yeah, it was yeah, I don't know, dude. Marvel's like I said, dude. All these guys have been talking trash to every other fandom out there.
Hmm.
Marvel's been sitting on top, right? Prepare for the avalanche, man. Batten
Yeah.
down the hatches. The storm's coming.
Yeah. Well, hey, for any Marvel fans out there, don't feel too bad because WB don't know what they're doing with DC either. So it's frustrating no matter which superheroes you like. Because deep with WB Sega Forever,
Yeah.
it seems, sometimes feel like they can only get Batman right, and everybody else you just throw your hands up in the air and hope for the best.
Well, I love Superman though. I like what they did with
Yeah.
Superman in Justice League.
Oh,
We
yeah.
just need
So
them
did
to get
I.
a movie, man. We just need
Yeah,
to get a movie.
and that it's I read how that brought $3 billion to WB,
Hmm.
and they still don't want to work with him. It's just I don't know. To me, stuff like this is at their best when they're completely different. It's why it's why I never wanted Xbox to be like PlayStation. Because it's like if I want a PlayStation, I'll just buy one. Do Xbox. You know what I'm saying? And the same with DC and Marvel. I don't need DC to make jokes like Marvel movies or any of that stuff. Just make just make these movies good, and audiences will gravitate towards them. You know what I'm saying?
No, exactly, dude. And at least I'll say this, man. At least with DC, dude, it's more of a it's in the how can I put this, man? It's in the vein that I understand because it's a studio thing, right?
Yeah.
Right. It's old school, right?
Hmm.
Like this isn't just WB. This is Paramount. This is what we know, right? This is
Right.
the level we know, right? It's somebody. It's like the producer wants to be on the. It's that kind of thing going on, right? That
Right.
I can understand. At least there's hope for you, right? That says. But with Marvel, dude, I'm telling you, man, they're gonna have to fall and fall hard to do a course correct.
Right.
I mean, they
Yeah.
have to get rid of Kevin Feige, and I don't see that happening. Um, oh, so I meant to ask you this, man. What about the new boss, dude? What do you think about the new guy coming in for Warner Brothers?
Yeah. Right now I'm just in a wait and see mode.
Okay.
I gotta see what they're gonna do, both in the short term and long term. Now I do like stuff like Black Adam and Aquaman 2. You know, they're doing stuff that I'm liking, but I can't, I can't make a final decision off your first moves. You got to do stuff for a while for me to. It's like Phil Spencer, man. Remember when Phil's first a lot of those moves Phil did back in 2015,
Oh yeah,
2016
yeah,
were not popular, and then fast forward 6 years later, Game Pass is the greatest thing to hit gaming in I don't know how long.
dude. Game Pass
Um,
is ridiculous, dude.
yeah, so that's how I feel about WB and their new guys, because they're canceling shows, they're cutting budgets right now, and maybe what they're doing is like when Phil closed down Lionsgate Studio in 2016, and then now they get Bethesda and Activision. Maybe that's what it is, and if it is, oh, hey, I'll remember this day sake forever, and
Mhm.
I'll say I was wrong. You know what I'm saying? Or it could go the negative route where they still focus on Batman, and don't know what to do with anybody else. Like the Broom of the Black Superman thing. I don't
Right.
need Superman to be black. I already like Superman.
Well,
I love his. Yeah,
I mean,
what are you saying?
no, there's a story there, and I think people didn't understand that it's not going to be Clark Kent.
Yeah,
It's going to
okay.
be the Superman. I forget the world he's from.
Yeah, that's the vibe I was getting, that it was Clark Kent, and that
Oh,
that that
is it
that's
Clark
why I
Kent?
didn't.
It was.
Yeah. The vibe I got when I read it. So
Oh,
if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. You know, if they do, and I know Black. I got the comic with the Black Superman alternate universe 1 2, and I can't remember his name on top of my head. But if that's the route they go, I can live with that. Who I think they should use is Icon, and people
mm,
might not know who's Icon, but back in the '90s, there's this Milestone Comics started
yeah,
by Dwayne McDuffie and
right.
other Black creators, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then a number of years later, they sold their properties to DC, and then DC, they brought them into the universe with their Worlds Collide story with the Justice League.
yes.
So their version of Superman was Icon, and Icon is amazing because he was an alien like Superman, except he came into slavery America, right?
Right.
And then so he grows up in that era, but hundreds of years later, he's this conservative black guy. He meets Rocket, this more left leaning young black girl. And and when I say that, you might be thinking it's super political. No, not at all.
No, no, no. It's a juxtapose. That's what they used to do,
Yeah,
Like Hawk
exactly.
and Dove, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Green Arrow and Green Lantern. They had a good comic that kind of
Yeah,
juxtaposed that.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's what I think they should use. But I don't work for these companies, so what do I know?
Well, I know. You know what? From what the rumblings are, there's people I follow that talk about this stuff. And I use the insider thing very sparingly, right? But they're talking about like this guy is a money guy, right? So he's looking at the money, and that's why he's making the changes that he has. And the well, we say in the Navy, right? The scuttlebutt, right? The subterfuge of it all, is that he's looking at the big three because that's what makes the money. The DC Trinity, basically. And it's proven. I mean, as you know, with all the hate that the movies get and stuff like that, the one thing you can't go against is the amount of money they made too. And I think they're on the right track as far as if he's going to do that, if he's going to look at what really matters, and then hopefully he can get people on and they can build from that. I mean, because DC makes these guys make money, dude. They make money. That's just the bottom line.
Yeah, yeah. And to be fair for them, that's their most important bottom line at the end of the day.
Well, for me, it's the devil again. I like using this term. It's the devil we know.
Hmm.
So like I like Bob Chapek.
Hmm.
If I think he is, I have this theory about Bob Chapek and what he's trying to do.
Hmm.
Uh, all the politics and stuff aside, I just need them to get back to what's important, which is just making entertainment. what they're known for, right? And
Yeah.
so that's why I feel the same way about the WB guy. This is what it sounds like to me. It could be totally wrong, like you said, we don't know, right? But if I had to take a guess, man, that he'll look at this stuff and be like, yeah, where is my Superman movie?
Yeah.
Superman
That's
made
what
this much, this much. You know what's the actor? What's his man? I'm drawing a blank on his name.
Henry Cavill.
Yeah, Henry Cavill. Like, yeah, that's the dude from The Witcher, right?
Yeah.
Like you don't need to know stuff like oh yeah, that's the Witcher guy, and Netflix had all these, he was very popular. And he was in that one movie with Tom, like that's how they think, right? And then the natural correlation to that thinking is like, okay, where's my Superman movie? That's how it normally happens, right? It's like this: we have Henry Cavill's casted as Superman, and we're not using him. What's going on, guys? Like, that's what I want to see.
Yeah, that's what I want as well. Because man, I paid anything for a Man of Steel 2 movie.
Yeah, dude. I love Kevin Costner, and then Diane Lane. Actors with and that's a movie thing with me too. Actors with that type of gravitas,
right?
And then to be able to incorporate it into the movie, and the way they presented it, dude. It was like it was a higher art form of a comic book movie, which I thought was real. Yeah, it had some meat to it,
Yeah, definitely.
Look, sometimes you want the Guardians of the Galaxy, right? Sometimes you want the Thor Ragnarok, but sometimes you want Man of Steel, right? Or you want Dark Knight, right? You want,
Yeah,
but
it needs to be. It needs to be. It needs to be varied. It needs to capture the character. But as long as it's not the same thing over and over, or it doesn't feel monotonous, or doesn't feel like it's abandoning what's already established,
right?
Chances are it'll work. Because my grievances right now is stuff like the stuff that I saw that Marvel Cinematic Universe established from phases 1 through 3 is being abandoned, and nothing is making sense. You know what I'm saying? Like the Loki show, for example, the Loki show, and there's a scene in Loki where he says he didn't enjoy harming people, right? And I'm like, for like 7 movies, he's killing people, he's laughing, he's having the time of his life. It took him like 7 movies to finally help Thor without betraying him in some way. And you telling me throughout none of that time he was enjoying what he was doing when he was clear, like the first Avengers movie where he take down some shield soldiers right there, and he's clearly having the time of his life. And stuff like that it just doesn't make sense. Or how at the end of the Loki show, like I think it was the final episode, he's the one who gets betrayed, god of tricksters, and he's the one that gets betrayed, and stuff like that. It's just driving me crazy because none of it makes sense.
Well, they say they're deconstructing these guys, and that's what's pissing me off. Because one of the thing that I loved about the first Thor movie, my favorite scene with Loki that I've ever had. I mean, aside from the dialogue he had with Samuel Jackson, that was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
But my favorite scene is when he looks at Odin, right, and then he screams at him like, "Why? What did he say? Damn, I can't, dude. This might like my favorite scene. I'm drawing a blank on it. But he's like, "Who am I?" Right? He's asking, "Why did you save me?" Right? And then Odin comes clean, right? He's saying, "Look, you're because he's a frost giant technically. He's the son. He was left for dead, and he thought he could broker an alliance."
Right.
The pain in his face, man. The pain in his eyes when he does that. Tom Hiddleston does that, and this is why later on, when if you want to build like what Marvel's trying to do is they're trying to have you like with Scarlet Witch, they want you to feel sympathetic for her, but it's hard to feel sympathetic for a lady that just comes across as a
yes.
I'm sorry, the term, but I mean that's just the way it is.
It's like her family wasn't even real, and all this other stuff, and that's what's. It's not like Hawkeye when he lost his family, and then in Endgame how he's
exactly.
He lost his actual family. That makes sense, but everybody keep telling her your family wasn't real and all this other stuff, and
so you know what that is, right? It's like, oh boy, what's that comedian name? He goes, man, you're just a crazy bitch. That's what it comes across as, and then you don't want to be that way, but you're like, dude, she whack.
And they keep trying to make her. They keep trying to make her sympathetic for her own bad actions.
And anybody any man on social media knows exactly who she is. Right? She's stalking you on.
Yep. The
one staring at you at work, right? You feel sorry for this chick. You're like, nah, man, you need help. That's what you do. But that's how you do it. Like with that scene with Loki. So you can kind of understand why he does the things he does, right? Because
Yeah,
you
yeah.
feel bad for him, was like, wow, dude, that's pretty messed up, because yeah,
Mhm.
basically you're not his son, and you get the thing that he treats you equally until you find that out, right?
Right.
Right.
Yeah,
So
and that works. The Loki show doesn't work because they still go out their way to just abandon everything they established about him
yeah,
and all the other movies. And so when you watch that scene in Thor, you get it. When you watch the Loki show, at least in my interpretation of all this, it's more like, okay, when has Loki ever expressed something like this, or when has he ever cared this much or any of this stuff?
yeah.
Uh, again, he's supposed to be like the god of tricksters or something like that, and he's the one being outsmarted. After him outsmarting the Avengers, outsmarting Thor, and all this other stuff, now I got to watch a show where he's the exact opposite of how he's been in phases 1 through 3, and stuff like that is just losing me big time.
Well, and then even Freya, right? Freya's put up as this as one of the. So Freya's like on she has that witch level, right? She's a
Mhm.
witch. That's her background. So she's supposed to be really good with spell casting and stuff like that. And they
Right.
kind of touch on that in Thor 2, right?
Mhm.
Because they're saying like this is it Thor 2? Well, anyway, the inclination is that Thor is more of the dad, and
Mhm.
and Loki was more with the mom,
Right.
right? But he doesn't like, they kind of touch on it, but he never exhibits that ever again.
Yeah.
This dude should be able to go toe to toe with Scarlet Witch,
Yeah.
and he's a god. He's an Asgardian god,
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
which would put him. So if you're not gonna do the god thing, the god tier stuff, you gotta
Yeah.
at least the way they went with it in Marvel Cinematic Universe is like Asgardian. They didn't. They went through the higher what do they call it? They're basically an alien race, a very
Yeah.
evolved alien race, right? So then you have to go with the cosmic aspect,
Right.
of which they do neither, right?
Yeah.
That's why when the Hulk takes Loki down the way he does, it's because he's the Hulk.
Hmm.
Right? So that doesn't bother anybody, and that
No.
pays off later on in Endgame or no Endgame, no Infinity War. It pays off
Hmm.
Infinity War because I was wait. You know when the opening scene with Hulk and Thor and Thanos.
Yeah.
So I like the way from what I was reading what they're going to do with Thanos because this is the Thanos I like. This
Hmm.
is the Thanos that's calculating, dude. He's tough. He doesn't lose his cool, but he could whoop your ass, right?
Right.
That's the Thanos I like. There's been versions of him and stuff like that where he's like pondering and all that crap, right? Which he kind of does in this one, but it's not as bad. But then when Hulk stepped to him, right, Hulk breaks onto the screen and starts just taking him down. And then
Hmm.
everybody in my theater, I had my kids with me. Everybody in that theater I was in, dude, it was like, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. They was all happy. And I was over there like, I'm just sitting there not saying nothing, like like this, right? I'm giggling to myself, and my kids look at me, and I just look at them. Like, yeah, watch this. And
Right.
then boy stops the dude. He's like, let him have his fun. And then he just opens that can of whoop ass on Hulk.
Hmm.
And I was like, yeah, I was in the theater. I didn't care. I was like, yeah, whoop his ass, Thanos. And then my kids were like laughing too, like kind of giggling too. And I was like, yeah, because that's how it's supposed to be.
Right.
Hulk is powerful. Hulk is the man on Earth, but Thanos is a cosmic being.
Right.
That's the kind of stuff I look at when I look at these movies. This is why I have a hard time watching Doctor Strange because like all of that stuff is out the window.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, why does Scarlet Witch even have those minions? I'm like, why are those
Yeah.
guys even there?
Yeah. Exactly.
Like, what, dude? Dude, you don't even need them at this point.
Yeah. She did. I mean, if your superpower, if your superpower could pretty much warp reality and all this other stuff, yeah, you just walk up to whoever you're looking for, basically.
Yeah.
I don't see why she can't mind control. Actually, she did mind control somebody when she first attacked the
Yeah,
sanctuary,
that was
and she went behind a guy. And she went behind the guy's ears, telling him to run. So she could even do some form of mind control that she, for some reason, didn't do any other point in the movie.
yeah. I kind of rolled my eyes, and then later on, I told my kids, "Wow, I didn't know she had psychic abilities. I didn't know she was Professor X, man. She must have got that power set somewhere. Maybe she was reading the Darkhold. They had a chapter in there where she learned how to do, psychic powers and stuff like that. But yeah, she had mind control, and I'm like, okay, that's weird. Maybe I missed that issue. you know, maybe when I fell off of comic books, maybe it was in there somewhere where they built that in for her. I don't know, dude. Yeah, I agree with you, 100%. And that battle scene was just, to me, it was just so weak, bro. It was just like, I was like, you have all these sorcerers there, right? These people have the millennia of knowledge and been training their entire lives, and this is the best I get.
Right. Yeah, and oh, you know what? That's another thing that I had an issue with.
Mhm.
It felt like nobody posed a threat in these fights.
Oh yeah,
Because you remember the big statue things, they all got taken out in like one hit.
oh yeah,
Wong through whatever that thing is called under that one, and he fell, and then Doctor Strange just flew and knocked the other three out. And you think that it was setting up for some kind of, if you will, boss fight before
right.
getting to a Wanda, but no, they why were they there? You know what I'm saying? The guys at the Sanctuary got taken out so easily. If that's the case, just have Wanda walk up to Doctor Strange and do what she did, and fast forward that part if they're not going to put up a threat. Same with the Illuminati.
Yeah,
They fight her for like 4 minutes. Well, no, let me rephrase that. Two of them fought her for like 4 minutes. The rest just got taken out like it was nothing. Why
and
isn't?
it's like two of the best.
Yeah,
I hate to bring this up, but you know the final two are women. I'm just saying. I'm not, yeah, I have to throw that in there. Right? I'm like looking at that. Okay, so your two people that survived are women. Okay, I see what you're trying to say. Forget about Mr. Fantastic. Reed Richards, the smartest man alive. You
yeah,
know,
yeah, exactly.
oh, I lost him. Ah, limited. I lost you, brother. I hope that's not my internet, bro. Oh, did I hit my limit? Do I have a limit on this? Oh, I see it.
Yeah, sorry, got
No, no,
knocked off
no. Is
there.
there a limit on this? Because I don't have like the premium plan.
Not to my knowledge, but it's getting kind of late over here anyway. It's like
Yeah, bro, I know. Yeah,
11:38. Yeah,
sorry, brother. Yeah.
and that's all good.
You know what I'll do is since I have you now and I know how to add, if you want to do this again, and then we can even get E-Rock if he wants to. And then even 100, man. I saw 100 popped in, and then
Yeah,
even Sega Man. 500, man. 100 loves this stuff.
yeah.
He's like a nerd, dude. I was like, I was laughing at him one time. I was like, dude, you're a nerd. But yeah, I know. You know what I wanted to talk about because I just wanted to get your opinions on. And I'll try and set this stuff out. I'll let you know. I haven't seen the Halo show.
Oh, I haven't either. I
Oh, you
haven't
haven't
either.
watched? Oh, I thought you did. Oh. I know
No.
you've been watching it, but if you want to talk, like do stuff on that, man, because I can't with Marvel, dude. I like Moon Knight just pissed me off, dude. Moon Knight
Yeah.
really pissed me off. I just stepped away from that. I'm like,
I haven't seen Moon Knight yet myself.
yeah, you don't need to.
But yeah.
I'm serious. I mean, it's fine, dude. If you have free time and
hmm
you got nothing to do, you cut the grass already, and
Right.
actually live life. Yeah, that stuff. But yeah, dude. But thanks for joining me, man. I don't want to hold you any longer. I know it's late where you are. It's getting late over here too. But I know you probably got work tomorrow. And,
Yeah.
yeah, thanks for joining me.
It's always my pleasure either way, man.
Yeah, dude.
Always my pleasure.
I'm glad you were able to come on, to add perspective to this. I always appreciate your perspective. Sometimes when people see that I'm a Marvel guy, they just assume that I'm just like diehard Marvel.
Right.
And it's just like with Xbox, man. It's like I was harsh on Halo.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the guys we follow, man, they're like, dude, why are you hating on Halo? I was like, because it doesn't work for me.
Right.
It's nothing personal, dude. The reason I'm a Xbox guy is Halo.
Yeah.
Halo's an awesome game. Like everything they're doing is awesome. But I mean, I'm not gonna sit here if I can't play multiplayer.
Right.
And I know what it is. It's the server issue.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, well, it's the server issue. Why are you? I'm like, because Microsoft. I expect more from Microsoft.
Yeah.
When they tell me that, especially when you're building your whole ecosystem, which you want everybody to jump in. And then I'm kind of miffed about Halo, man, because I couldn't get the console, right? I couldn't get my stand. I couldn't get nothing because all these normies are coming in.
Yeah.
These pricks that weren't there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get bitter. But I'm like,
I wanted that controller so bad, but
we deserve that controller.
Yeah.
These guys weren't there. These guys were the same people coming in now, or the same. I'm like, Xbox has no games, and these pricks are like, look what Microsoft sent me.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, oh man, you can kiss my ass, dude. I'm like, oh dude, I'm so mad. I'm just like, dude, I should have this thing. Why are you guys buying this stuff? And they're buying it because hey, more power to them because they want to get Game Pass. They're actually coming over. They want to get into the games, but I'm not gonna get it, right?
Yeah.
Because you guys are getting it, and Microsoft's giving it to you.
Shit.
And then I'm waiting for Aaron to say something like, yeah, we had a great run at that. We're gonna bring it back. I haven't heard nothing. For us less fortunate people that don't have a bazillion followers. Anyway, man, I'm sorry, I'm bitter. So that kind of played into the whole thing, but I'm gonna call them out on that because I want them to be. Look, and I feel like we can because we pay. We're the people that pay, right? We're the ones that pay for our Game Pass. We're the ones that pay for the controllers. We're the ones that pay for that. So we have a little, if you guys aren't doing, if I buy the season pass and I can't play it with people and I can't unlock my stuff because I can't get in any games, and I'm already like I can only play between 5 and 9.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
There's only a certain amount of time we have the game these days.
Yeah, because it's a live pass issue. It's a live pass thing, and I want to get the stuff, and I feel like like, I kind of gotta get my money's worth, and they know they got me, man. I'll buy this. I'll buy the pass because it's Halo. I'll be pissed off I didn't get the controller, but here I am buying the figure.
Yeah. Oh, you got a Halo figure?
I got the big the Funko Pop one with the sword.
Ah, okay. That's dope. That's dope.
Dude, I can't
Yeah,
even. I can't because I
never-
can't find the figures. I can't find the figures that GameStop sell. People are buying it. I don't know who's buying it.
Yeah. Might need to talk to Heba. He seemed to have hookups with stuff like that, especially if it's GameStop related.
Yeah. Well, I'm a jilted lover at this point.
Ah,
I'm like I feel like I've been cheated on.
yeah.
So I don't care anymore. Because like I saw the controller, I'm like, well, why? I don't have, I wanted the whole kit and caboodle. I'm a collector, dude, so I want. Not that I hate them, but it'll drive me nuts if I have a controller but I don't have the console.
Right.
I can't function.
Right. I mean, if I had the money to get console like that, I'd agree. But my collection is large enough, and I'm satisfied personally. Now I collect the controllers. I got a lot of the controllers. But the consoles. I mean, one day if I could find them, sure. But they're definitely not on my radar. I got other stuff I need to pay for. You know how it is with life. And all these habits, collecting habits. If anyone who's a collector, know how expensive these hobbies are.
Yeah,
You know, I love my games and my comics, man. Both of those are pricey hobbies to get into.
I can't believe that the Xbox One was $4.99 and PlayStation was only $3.99. That's why I bought a PlayStation. I'm like, dude, you're in the wrong hobby, dude.
Yeah,
If you're bulking at a $500 console at this point, because you guys have the iPhones, you guys have the new TVs. I mean, so that's why I don't believe these guys. I'm like, dude, you're not Xbox, man. Unfortunately, these are the guys that got the Halo Anniversary Edition.
Right. I'll never understand how anyone could look at that Xbox One lineup, Day One lineup, and that PS4 lineup, and still threw money at that PS4. Because the Xbox One, man, that console actually might have had the best debut in all of the Xboxes if you think about it.
Dude, I'll put it right up there with Dreamcast. I've always thought Dreamcast was fun.
Yeah. I mean, Rise, Forza Motorsport 5, Dead Rising 3, Killer Instinct, all that was day one. You know, they were ready for that generation, and I don't know how people let that one slide.
That was just the hate. The media jumped on board. It was the starting of everybody. Influencers were getting bigger. They needed clicks. That's all. You look back at it now. So like Microsoft has not left anything to chance, and it just blows my mind. Game Pass just keeps on. I literally did. I sit back and I'm like, dude, just stop already, man. I can't. Yeah. I'm like, dude, seriously. Who's just? I can't do this, man. That's why when I hear people say, well, where's our AAA games? I'm like, screw you, bro. As soon as I hear a person you complain about AAA games, like one of these Xbox influencers, say something to me about AAA games, I was like, you're not a gamer, bro. Because if you're complaining about games on Game Pass, I'm looking at 15 games off the top of my head that's saved that I have to that I can be playing right now and be totally happy.
Right.
You just can't throw triple. Dude, these are indie games. These are they're getting games in from Japan, from Korea, right? They're trying to build this library. Dude, you try and build favor with these other companies and these third-party developers, then you drop Halo in there like a prick. I'm like, dude, what? I'm like, I thought you guys were like industry guys.
Yeah.
If they drop, and then you run the risk of people getting too used to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't understand. I don't understand these guys, dude. They just blow my mind.
Yeah. I mean, Xbox is in a fantastic position, and people are just catching up, basically. Like you said about the casuals, Marvel fans catching up to where we are now.
Yeah.
Gamers are doing the same with Xbox. They're now catching up to where we've been at for years.
There's gonna be a crying and gnashing of teeth, as the good book says.
Mm-hmm.
We're just gonna be sitting here. I told you. Look, I hate to. Well, no, I'm lying. I don't mind wallowing in people's misery, but like you said, dude, these guys are catching up, and it's like, okay, just that's why I share the Japanese thing that they buy the console.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, that doesn't mean they're number one. That doesn't mean they're this. I said, I don't care, dude. I share it. I share it because every time I see an Xbox, it's just like that movie. Every time you hear a bell, an angel gets in his wings, right? Because every time these guys get an Xbox One S, they get in Game Pass. That's what it is. They buy in the Xbox, a Series S. Sorry, the Xbox Series S. It's super cheap, and then they can get into Game Pass. And as that subscription keeps on building, that guarantees that we'll have our games bulletproof. That's why I keep on saying it's bulletproof, man. It's just they'll get up there, man. If we hit 50 million subscriptions, man, if they announce that, dude, I'll be so happy. And then I'm like, okay, let's hit 100. Because when you start doing that, then Microsoft can be doing that quarter, like I'll drop a new title every month. Because you have so many people playing, man, and everybody plays different stuff. That's why you need that variety. And then they'll be untouchable.
Right.
Dude, it'll be good times. Because I don't even want, because then we don't have to, if it gets like that, dude, we don't have to deal with ponies anymore, man. You have one or two, but and then the whole community will attack them because they're the outside man, right? They'll come in there, start talking trash. Like, all right, what's wrong? Like, people are doing that now. Like, not even Xbox guys, right? Like, some of these guys from Japan are like, okay, why don't you like Xbox? It's really good. It's cheap and it's small. For a little reason. Oh, anyway, bro, I'm sorry, I'm rambling. I don't mean to keep you, but I better let you go. But you have anything else? Hey, any final thoughts, man? You got the final outro, bro. Go ahead.
No, not really this time. I feel like I got everything off my mind. But hey, man, it was a pleasure hanging out with you. There's something that we don't do much, but you're always in my channel. I'm always in your channel, so it's always great when we could hang out. So it was always a pleasure, man. Really a pleasure.
Yeah, dude. Hey, I appreciate those videos you do, man. Because sometimes I need something to listen to, and like I really need something to listen to. I'm at therapy or something like that, dude. And one of the videos pops, or Sega Man's videos pops. The only ones I have a hard time with is the ones that I want to watch, because I need to be doing something, so I can't watch the screen.
Right.
So I'll just wait till I come home and then I'll put it. I did the same thing with Hebot's, when he does his unboxings and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, he bought videos. His stuff be like 30 minutes of him going in.
Yeah, I kind of don't like his videos because then I'm like, I have to fight the urge to buy it. That's the only thing I can stand about his videos, man. I'm like, dude, I could buy that right now, but I can't buy it.
Yeah.
I can't afford, like, because some of that stuff is expensive, man.
Yeah, it is.
I stopped watching some guys because it's just like, some of the statues they buy is like upwards of $900, and they're like, oh, you can get on a payment plan. Dude, payment plan, dude. Like, obviously, you don't pay electricity,
right,
or rent or something. I mean, maybe they do, but I'm like, dude, I can't do that, man. I got to pay for food, and especially now, everything's so expensive. Hawaii is no joke, man. So I appreciate Dallas. I know you guys, you have options in, or Houston, sorry, but you have in Texas, you guys have options. So. But yeah, so anyway, this is All In Channel, man. Thank you, my brother Unlimited Productions, for coming on board. Always great to get his perspective. Like I said, please follow this man. He's the up and comers, man, and he ain't the up and comer no more, bro. You've arrived. This dude has arrived, man. He's on the Exile podcast, dude. Check him out over there. He runs his what's the name of your podcast? I love the name of it.
The Unlimited Truth.
The Unlimited Truth. Thank you, bro. Sorry, forgive my age, man. I'm older than Hebot. I think the only one that got me beat is E-Rock. So, but I'm a shade below him. So, yeah. But check out my brother here. Thank you for coming on, man. Thank you for sharing your perspective. I love talking to people that understand the genre, especially. Not only do I get knowledge from there because I'm not the biggest DC. I don't have I'm not a DC fan per se, but I also have that background knowledge.
All right.
But it's always good to get that perspective, man, especially from the outside, right? Especially when it comes to, you don't want to get caught in like a bubble, what a lot of people do nowadays, right? I mean, they can't see outside their own viewpoint. So appreciate everything you do, man. And yeah, guys, thanks for joining. If you watch this video, We'll try. I'll try and do, dude. Unlimited. I'll get with you offline. Maybe not today. I know you gotta go, but I'll send you. I'll message you later, then, and then try and make this more official. And I might even pick up I might even get the premium package, so we can do some
Yeah.
stuff with the other guys too. But yeah. So again, thanks for joining me, man. All in channel. Say it forever with my special guest, Unlimited Production, and we out.
You are out.